It's Wednesday. It's Christmas. It's the TNG Review Show. Hey. Hey. My kind of scuffed intro this week. It didn't quite go to plan, building that intro this week. It was supposed to be a lot more intricate than it was, but...
Everybody loved it.
I fluffed it up, but it kind of worked in the end. We got something done there. Something a little bit Borgy and a little bit Christmassy. Yeah, which is kind of the theme of this evening, really. We're a little bit Borgy and a little bit Christmassy. But anyway... Welcome to the TNG Review Show with myself, Montuan, my ever-suffering co-host, Mazimet Bob, Tavykins Turner, and Chief Sean. Good evening, everyone. Yes, it's Christmas! It's Christmas! But yes, woo! I hope everybody's got their presents done and I've got their turkeys ready and all that shenanigans. Yes. Despite
immediately after Wookie says, "Where is Sean's clothing hat? And did you enjoy Godzilla?" I'm sure Sean will be bringing his floating hat on imminently. Godzilla, I think, was probably, for me anyway, the best film I've seen this year. It was great. Yes, loved it.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things.
It was, to be honest, it was a little slow, possibly towards the end of the middle bit. It got a bit wordy, but apart from that, it was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, really good. I recommend anybody that doesn't mind watching like a subtitled film. If you don't mind watching subtitled films, and definitely check it out.
Did it have a song by Jamiroquai?
Why?
It's okay. Never mind. I was referencing the '98 film that did. I was going to think when you said no, I was going to say it's a pass. So, but never mind. The song "Deeper Underground" is from. Doesn't matter. What carry you?
Good evening to everyone in live chat. Good evening to Wookie, who was liking my intro, despite it being a bit messed up. That's good. Good evening, Stuplum. Good evening to my wrench, Smiler Rainbow. And good evening to Ruth. Have we got Ruth there? I think I saw someone say hello, Ruth. Ruth, there you go. Hello, Ruth. Mm-hmm. Good evening to you. Some news this week. A couple of the recent TNG review shows have done really well. I don't know if you noticed. Last week's has got over 120 views.
Right, that's excessive by our numbers.
And a couple before that's got over 130 views.
We normally have about 50, right?
Yeah. So,
40, 50, yeah, probably 40 on average, yeah.
Yeah, 40 on average, so 133.
Lovely.
That's quite a lot. Yeah, they've been getting some good views recently. And something I meant to mention last week that I forgot, but I saw something. I don't know. Have you seen that Playmates have put out a new Enterprise D toy?
Oh, the Playmates? No.
Playmates. I'll just hang on.
By all means.
But you know, like the Playmate figures that I show occasionally, they had that whole 1990s TNG toy line.
Yeah, and they cancelled it. Nobody was buying them.
Then they cancelled it. They've, out of nowhere, they've just released another Enterprise D Playmates toy. And the saucer section and drive section separate.
What?
Nice.
Oh, take my money.
Yeah, and it's a lot more detailed than the original 1990s one. I've got... Oh, you can just about see the bottom of it on my shelf.
The one with all the buttons and things.
The one with the buttons down the back of its neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an updated version of that. And
you-
funnily enough, because that one, the old 1990s one, was based on the 4-foot model and its dimensions and things. This one's based on the 6-foot model, so it's a bit sleeker, and the saucer section's a bit bigger.
Yeah, it's the fat one.
Yeah, it's the fat. Yeah.
Nobody
So-
likes the fat one.
Can I find a picture of it? Yes.
We're very open about bodies and no shaming.
No. Oh, no.
No,
that's
I was.
settings. That's the wrong
That
thing.
was a quote. That was a quote.
Uh,
Can we have a
But
bingo link in chat at some point?
even look at the style of the boxlet.
Yeah, that's very that's like Christmas 1994 or
Oh, wow.
1993.
And look, the
that is
saucer
very-
So
separates.
retro.
That is so perfectly on point.
Yeah. The deflector dish looks a lot more realistic, and the windows look a lot more realistic. But it's just a plastic Playmates toy. And do you know how much that costs in Target in America right now?
$130.
$45.
Oh, that's very reasonable. I mean, it used to cost £40 Irish pounds back in the day for something like that. So $45 30 years later is a hell of a deal.
I can't
Just while you
believe
have
it.
that up, did you ever know this? You know the bridge set, obviously, that you have the play set. Did you know there was an engineering piece that went onto that?
Yes, I have it.
Oh, do you really?
Yes, and
Okay,
the
I
warp
only
core
found out
goes
it existed
boom, boom,
recently.
boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, it makes. Yeah, I only found out. Obviously, you had to special import it because I don't think they sold it in the UK.
I'll tell you what, it's up in my loft, but next episode I will get it down and show you.
Oh, impressive. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yes,
enough.
and I have the transporter unit thing.
yeah,
as
I
well.
had the transporter, and did you know there was a runabout as well?
No, I haven't got a runabout. I've got the shuttle on my,
Yeah.
on my thing. But no, I
My,
didn't
my
get a
brother,
runabout.
my brother went to America to stay with a friend, and they had the runabout, and they hadn't played with it for years. I was like, "It's okay, you can take it back." And it's like, "No, I couldn't do that." And he left it behind him. Wasn't sold in Ireland. Wasn't sold in the UK. Held 3 figures, and it wasn't quite to scale internally, but it was still. I was like, "Oh, seriously?"
That's mine. I mean, I've still got that box in my loft. That's my
Nice.
Playmates. I bought that when I was like a teenager in like 1991. And
Credit where credit.
that's the new box. It's like almost identical. It's like it's amazing. I was gobsmacked. Anyway,
Credit where credit's due. They're finally starting to do some merch right. I just saw an ad on the Crowd Master replicas, and they just put up a photo of a Moopsie saying "Coming 2024." It's like, yeah, the episode was 6 months ago. They're the time for it to come out was when the episode came out, not like a year later. They're
Yeah.
just missing the boat.
yeah. So Wookie says he opened up 78 new accounts just to support us. Yes, I believe
appreciate
you.
it.
But unfortunately, our subscriber count's not gone up, which would have been nice. But no. Right. Sorry, I haven't gone around the table. Mazimut Bob, how are you this week?
I'm all kinds of good. Yeah, looking forward to Christmas.
Have you got your blood wine this evening?
Well,
Oh, there seems to be a story
I
behind
have
that.
this, which is the rest of what I was drinking whilst I was preparing for the show. And then when that runs out, I have this. So
Oh.
I'm kind of on it tonight because it's Christmas celebration.
You're on it. You're on it like
So
a club on it.
I may be a little bit diddly by the end of the evening. We
Oh,
shall see.
right, okay, we'll see. I have a 19 Crimes Uprising. So,
Oh,
one, of those,
nice.
one of those bad boys.
Yummy sweet wine.
Tavikins, how are you this week?
Very, very good. It's my last week at work before the holidays, so I'm looking forward to that. And I'm just having a regular old beer tonight.
Yeah, I can't speak for everyone, but from Friday, and I probably will only work till about 2:30 on Friday. I'm straight through till January. So looking
Nice,
forward to that.
nice. For the
What do you
first
have in
time, sorry, go on.
Having some wine.
Wine, some wine.
Wine.
That's a red
Well, having a
Dwarf
Cork.
reference.
You missed my earlier one. Because I did this and you
Oh, did you do a rimmer salute? Oh, that's because a lot of the time I'm like in my score sheet or in my bingo sheet,
Never
so I'm
mind.
not always watching the screen.
A what reference?
Red Dwarf. He did a rimmer salute, and he said wine, like
wine in the Scouse
Lister
accent.
says it.
So for those who don't know, we have an ongoing bingo competition where for the random things that mainly Sean says that he repeats every week, we have bingo cards. So there's a link to a bingo card. If you haven't got yourself a bingo card yet and you're watching this back in future, please feel free to click on that link in the live chat and you can get your bingo card. There you go. And if you do watch it back and you have got your bingo card, let us know in comments, and we can count you for next week.
Wookie wants to know, on the subject of collectibles, did they ever issue an inflatable life-size Tapal doll? Someone who knows is asking. He's of course not interested personally.
They did, and my buddy Denzel was supposed to bring them back to the factory. They were defective, but I signed for them to pretend they were returned, and they turned out to be explosive. That was a whole other story. Nobody. I was referencing Only Fools, but nobody got it. Never mind.
No. But okay. So by the way, just to let you know, I'm working throughout the whole of Christmas. I'm not taking any time off this year for the first time ever. I've never worked through Christmas before, but this year I am.
It's just your rotation.
It's a lovely time off during the summer, is it?
Yes. Well, Smiler Rainbow's got a lot of work to do on her masters, so I just thought, well, I might as well work, and that way Smiler can work and I can work, and then once she's finished her masters, I'll have some extra leave to go and do something. So yeah,
that's beautiful.
So that's what we're doing this year, right? But on to the episode, because we've not got one episode to get through and one quiz. We've got two this evening, so
we're gonna have to power through.
We're gonna power through, and we'll see how we go. So this evening we are consigning to our vault Descents Parts 1 and 2. So Descent Part 1 is episode 26. The last and final episode of Season 6 of The Next Generation. Production number 40276-252. It first aired in the US on the 21st of June, 1993. And it's the 101st episode to be both produced and released. The teleplay was by Ronald D. Moore. It's his 24th of 29 writing credits, with the story by Jerry Taylor, her 15th of 17. It was directed by Alexander Singer, and this is his third of 6 episodes that he directed. And he also, interestingly, or not particularly interesting, he directs the second part, which is unusual in TNG. I think you normally have like different, completely different staff between episodes, but the director's consistent in this one, so it's a bit more consistent. But yeah, have you got any other news about the production stats there, Maz?
Just that it was originally devised as part of, a few ideas that were pitched, one of them being All Good Things, which was obviously used later. And the original story was about them encountering some powerful new aliens, possibly with a crossover with Deep Space Nine, and then with Data experiencing negative emotions, and then it's sort of, the leader of these aliens revealing to be Lore. And then Ronald D. Moore suggested bringing in the Borg as a follow-up to iBorg. I think Jerry Taylor's idea was based on a novella called Heart of Darkness, so that the story is kind of, inspired by that effectively. Right. And they wanted to elaborate on the Borg a bit because they found them a little bit two-dimensional. Thought it was good to build in, a bit more around them, a little more character. yeah, I think that's about it. That summarizes about 8 different comments I've given up quite quickly.
All right. We're back to using TrekCore now for our images this evening, which is quite nice. It was like the old days putting this together this evening. And, right, share screen, set up picture. There we go. So the teaser opens with Data playing poker with Einstein, Newton, and Hawking. Apparently in his quarters. I say apparently, but it looks like his quarters. Hawking was regaling them with a humorous story about the curvature of space-time. Data feels impelled to explain to Sir Isaac Newton. Newton doesn't take this well. No, over there. Let's try that again. So, Sir Isaac Newton doesn't take kindly to being talked down to and reminds Data that he invented physics and goes to tell them the Apple story. Hawking's like, oh no, not the Apple story again. So Data weighs in that he thought that story was apocryphal. But Newton's like, how dare you? In fact, we know it's not necessarily apocryphal. Why do we know that? Do we know that because of a later Star Trek episode?
We do. It's an earlier episode.
Was it is it earlier episode?
No, it's in Voyager.
It's in Death Wish. Yeah, in Voyager.
Death Wish,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Death Wish, yes.
Yeah, in Voyager episode Death Wish, that we find out that the apple fell on his head because Q shook the tree.
I thought it was because the Doctor landed the TARDIS in the tree. If you're open your Doctor Who, but either which way. And then he went on to front the brand the darkness. What a career!
What a career! So Data moves the focus. Yeah, Data. There he is. Data moves the focus back onto the game of poker, where Einstein can't work out how much she's supposed to raise, and Newton reminds him it's 10. This is kind of asserting that the rumor or the legend that Einstein was not actually very good at maths, at basic maths, but that's actually false. Anyway,
actually, no. Do you think so? Because I heard Brian Cox talking about it, that a lot of scientists have a difficult time with math, and in their enjoyment of math, they get better at it. So even though he took his inspiration from Einstein, because at the beginning Einstein wasn't very good at math, even though he had the genius in his mind.
Apparently, it's a misnomer because a lot of people think that way because
he was quite brilliant as a child. Apparently,
that can happen. You're correct, but actually, Einstein was a child genius at maths, and he taught himself most maths. He could do really advanced calculus at like professor level by the time he was 14. But that meant he really couldn't apply himself at school and just didn't give a monkeys about school and that sort of thing. So, which then led people to believe he wasn't good at it because he couldn't be asked with the exams and all that sort of. He saw it all as being a bit beneath him.
Well, particularly in Einstein's time, I mean, it's only starting to change now that we're moving further and further from rote learning.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he was going to school in the 20s. A teacher wrote up something on a board and you memorized it and you wrote it down, and that's all you did.
Yeah, he was not interested in any of that. So he kind of dropped out of a lot of that and that sort of thing, which then looking back at his maths record, people believe that it was because he wasn't any good, but it wasn't. It's because he was actually a genius. But anyway, there we go. So that's why that's a legend.
Yeah, actually, it's going to say that you can tell it stayed as quarters because you can see the kind of wavy perspex thing in the background.
Yes, the thing I had in my bedroom
and
when I was in my 20s.
Just to point out, prop fact, those cards are Chemara cards and they're still commercially available. You can get those.
Yes. Wookie, I think he was dyslexic. I think you could have been right there. I think he was.
Very possible.
Also, in the very first scene there, where Hawking was talking about the curvature of space-time, I think they were talking about the motion of Mars, and they were taking the mick out of Newton because Newton's laws of physics couldn't have explained the motion of Mars without Einstein's theory of relativity. So
No, he could account for. He couldn't account for multiple objects all kind of pulling off each other.
That's
you know,
right.
It was too complicated. He could account for 2 objects, but not for 3, 4, or 5, all kind of pulling a little bit. You know, like a more complex. So
yeah. So that was what the ribbing was in that first part there. That's what that was all based around. Anyway, so Newton's like, why are we playing this stupid game anyway? And Data tells them that he finds it a useful forum into the facets of humanity, and wondered how the greatest minds would interact in this setting. And the results so far have been enlightening. So they continue with Newton and Data folding, and Einstein taunting Hawking that all the quantum fluctuations in the universe would not help him, and is convinced that Hawking is bluffing. But Hawking wins with 4 sevens, and he's got like a little electronic hand there that puts his cards down on the table. Again, this is in sort of like relation to, you know, Einstein sort of beat Newton, but Hawking
beats them all. Yeah,
beats Einstein. You know, it's kind of like the poker game played out like the evolution of physics.
Yeah, you know,
There's 2 things on this picture.
Oh, on that one.
One is that little card holder device was created by Paul Elliott of Makeup and Effects Laboratories, and the other one is, what's he got there? He's got a 47 reference. 4 sevens.
Oh,
4 sevens. Nice. Very good. I did not get that. Wow. Smiler, I don't know if you can answer Wookiee there, what your Masters is about. But then Data gets a red alert call to the bridge. So Data leaves, turning the holodeck off. So we realise that we're not in Data's quarters with the greatest minds humanity have to offer, but we're actually in the holodeck. On the bridge, Riker tells Picard that they have received a distress call from Oniaka 3, that they are under attack from unknown forces. So they put the ship on the screen, and quite frankly, it looks a bit crap, in my opinion. I always thought this Borg ship looked a bit rubbish.
I quite like it.
I don't know. The
scale is ridiculous, but I quite like it.
You know, they had those really awesome cubes, and like they lost their minds, and they created that.
Well, I always figured like this is one of the last like ships they were assimilating, and they just ended up jettisoning this
just
thing.
Ended up on it.
It was completely done. Like their skip be like, all right, let's just take the last bit our cube was chomping down on.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And it looks like, you know, obviously the scale isn't obvious in that shot, but it looks like it's about 50 times the size of the Enterprise, which is already stupidly big. So if the Enterprise can hold 4,000, it's a ship for maybe 150, 200,000 people. So that's one hell of a ship.
My assumption was it was always like a sort of, they just reorganized their Borg cube into that in their mania. But yeah.
And they reused this, I think, in Scorpion Part 2, which I think is isn't that the Species 8472 episode in Voyager?
It would be, yeah.
They use it as a multi-kinetic neutron mine, apparently.
Wow.
Okay.
Did I just put that picture? Oh, yeah, that's the same picture. So Picard sends an away team of Riker, Worf, Data, and a red shirt called Korelki, and they beam down and they find everyone in the planet is dead, Dave. They're all dead, Dave. Everyone is dead, Dave. You've already done your Red Dwarf reference for today, though. So
yeah, we got it in early.
that was wasted. Wolf reports that they were killed by a force phaser similar to what the Ferengi use, but they don't think the Ferengi are this brutal.
Excuse me. The
Yeah.
first, I'm going to be very skeevy for this episode. It should be expected. But does not Worf's ass look fabulous in that silhouette right there? Look at him. He's looking majestic as hell. Woo!
It's a majestic ass. What can I say? I mean, there's no other way of. It's majestic. Yeah.
And that long hair. I'm like, okay, that he's the cover of a Klingon romance novel.
And the shoulders, everything. Yeah.
Continue.
Well,
So
I think
Wolf-
you fit well in Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They decide to search the outpost because it appears everybody is dead. And they go and find a Borg behind a door. I've just got some pictures that take us there. This is quite a funny one. Well, this is a weird one. I got this picture here because for some reason, some of the pictures on TrekCore are out of order, and this was a random picture that just was slotted in this scene for some reason. I was like, why is that there? Anyway, I was quite impressed by how Data just rips off this panel off the wall. He does it so quick. He's like, whoosh,
Look at those hands.
gone. It's gone.
Oh, the veins.
And there's the Borg behind the door. Dun 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 dun. Question time.
I was just going to say, there's not a question on this, but when Data, and if you didn't, your shots didn't show it there, but Data has his phaser on the wrong side, and then when he picks it up to shoot, he shoots, like he picks up his left hand straight up, even though it's on his right, and it just annoys me. Anyway,
Didn't have that as a goof.
Okay, no, I only noticed it, I didn't read it. But so the first question, Jim Norton played Einstein in this opener, but what character did he play on Father Ted? A. Bishop Brennan, B. Father Noel Furlong, C. Father Dick Byrne, or D. Sister Assumpta? And the bonus question is, who wins the poker hand?
Anybody here watch Father Ted?
No.
No.
Never saw it?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Alright, well...
Anyway.
Tavi?
It's one
Father Ted, Tavi? You a Father Ted fan?
No,
I
I
don't
have
think-
no idea what the hell that is.
Okay.
No.
It's a sitcom from the 90s where a load of priests live on an island.
That sounds like a homoerotic prequel.
At times.
Story. Oh, and
It's
they should be
definitely
worried.
not.
Pretty
sure the Vikings would like the address to this island.
I know there's one priest that goes feck, arse, feck, arse. And that's what he really says.
It's not him.
So, Hawking is the only actor ever to play himself in the Star Trek franchise. It's a pretty cool accolade, don't you think?
Very cool.
You're like, there must be others. I can see your brain thinking, maybe there are, maybe it's an incorrect fact, but that's what I got.
I'm
apparently
pretty
his
sure there's like
appearance-
there's some baseball person or something in Deep Space Nine.
But Bukai,
Yeah, from the far future of the London Kings in the 2023 season. Yeah, I don't remember. I think we've come and gone past that one.
Wow. Okay.
Anyway,
They've
Hawkins'
mentioned
appearance
real
originated with.
Sorry,
Sorry?
go on. I said they've mentioned real people, but they haven't appeared as themselves.
Not to my knowledge. His appearance originated with a visit to the Paramount Studios to film an advertisement. And as a fan, he asked for a tour of the sets. And then on the bridge, he asked to be sort of lifted out of his chair into the captain's chair. And afterwards, he said, it's rather more comfortable and a lot more powerful than my wheelchair. And then later, apparently on an engineering set, referring to the warp core, he said, I'm working on that. But he was, quite a fan and, they wanted to find a way to write him into it. And they wanted something that was kind of like a profound scene. So all the references to, science and, like you say, that one-upmanship of how science has evolved over the years and each famous scientist building on the theories of the one before and stuff was all wrapped up into a nice little poker game scene, which was quite cool. Brent Spiner referred to his opportunity to appear with Hawking as perhaps his favorite moment in the entire experience of doing Star Trek.
Amazing.
Yeah, pretty cool. And also Hawking later joked that after winning the holiday card game, he had called Paramount Pictures to try and cash in his chips, but they didn't know the exchange rate. I must say, in the trivia stuff that I look up, there was a whole section on the teaser with like 20 things listed.
Wow.
I've never seen a whole section just encapsulated teaser before, but it was all about this poker game. Apparently, his text-to-speech software used to be run on an Apple II computer, and then later on he switched to another system which was provided by Intel with upgrades installed every couple of years, so more of a slightly more evergreen situation. And yeah, I think that's almost it. This is also the only Star Trek episode in which the title and guest star credits appear before the main opening sequence. That's my lot.
Yes, I noticed that. It had titles like the guest stars and things in the teaser, which was really odd. I thought I'd never seen that before or since. Yeah. Okay, so answers then, Sean.
Okay, I obviously went too hard on that first question. It was Bishop Brennan, A, and it was Stephen Hawking, who won the poker hand, as you all rightly stated.
Well,
I feel discriminated against. I feel like anybody not in the UK was particularly targeted, and I take offense. So just want to put that in there.
I just don't know why there was an Irish actor playing a German in Los Angeles. It just, it just kind of, they went all the trouble to get me. They couldn't find a German. I don't know.
So who said Hawking then? Is it everybody? So me, Wookie, Stu said Hawking, Ruth said Hawking, Tavi said Hawking, Mazza McBob said Hawking. Okay, so yeah, we're all there then. We're all there. So let's get some more. And let's spin the wheel. Do 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 do. Hey, what a start. I got the first question right and I won the spin.
Congratulations.
Fix.
Well, Monty Ban and Ruth are the only ones on the starting block.
Yes. Just be glad that it wasn't a Wookiee, because we'd have like a whole bunch of people in the minuses. Yeah.
I would have loved that. Woo.
Okay, so moving on, motoring on to Act 1. There's a battle and the Way team notice a real difference in the Borg behaviour. They fight with aggression and appear more concerned with their comrades when they're downed. Whilst this is happening, the ship in orbit attacks the Enterprise. I mean, look at the size of it, look. It's got to be made out of a Borg cube, isn't it?
Definitely Borg bits.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was just a ship being Borgified, like you see in the ENT episode Regeneration. You know, it starts with a normal ship and they just build all the Borg stuff onto it.
Maybe.
But it's a stupid ship.
You can imagine that when Hugh went into, oh my God, who the hell is that? Anyway, can you imagine when their cube crashed? When their cube crashed, it was an entire Borg cube that was probably worthless now, and the Queen most likely ejected herself and left this big ass cube behind. So I mean, they had a lot to work with.
They do. Yeah.
That is the only intro I get excited about. SG-1.
It's very good.
Okay. Continue.
Is it coming back? So Data gets jumped, and the red shirt gets shot dead. Of course, she's not wearing a red shirt; she's wearing yellow. But you get my point. Data's face is just wrong there, isn't it?
Oh, that's Guy. Yeah, that's Guy Fleeg. Yeah, that's him.
there's the red shirt getting shot in the chest. Goodbye, you. Then Data becomes enraged, telling the Borg to stop over and over again.
I love
whilst,
that face.
Yeah, while strangling it and eventually throwing it against a wall. It's a bit like when I'm trying to get Chewie to drop something, you know? I'm like, drop, 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 drop. He was a bit like that to that Borg.
It drops
Stop,
the front shoulder, starts
stop.
shaking the tail. It's like, no,
Yeah.
just drop it.
Just drop. 'Cause I'm expecting him to come up behind me going, I haven't got anything. Anyway, so then one Borg assesses Data as the artificial life form named Data, and the Borg beam up to their ship. The alien ship does a runner and disappears before the Enterprise torpedoes can make contact. Back on the planet, Data admits to Riker he got angry. That is the end of this act and question time.
It's a short act.
It was.
So, what was the name of the first Borg named in this episode? A1, B, Hugh, C, Torsus, or D, Bosus? And in what... Sorry, this one's a bit out there. In what game, commonly found in public spaces in the 90s, would you find a scale model of this Borg vessel?
In what game found in public spaces in the 90s would you find a scale model of this
Of the
Borg
Borg vessel. Well, you also found a model of the Enterprise D. That was in there too. And a Romulan warbird and a Klingon bird of prey. They were all in there. Oh, I may have went too hard on that question because I don't think anyone's getting it.
Anyway,
Okay.
there you go. Good guess. What was my...
Two strikes. You're getting it. You're getting it.
I'll
Trivia
give
to
it-
stun.
I'll give you a clue. Hold on. Maybe that
Oh,
helps.
trivia set to stun.
Could have applied that to the Father Ted question.
Okay, go on, sir.
Anyway, trivia. Apparently, no live effects were used during the phaser fight. It was all added post-production, like all the sparks and flames and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of odd imagining what it would have been like with no live effects.
You mean
we
the
know that
phaser beams weren't real?
because of the, the panel thing that we saw in the last episode with the sparks flying out of the console. So they do use, live sparks a lot of the time, but they didn't this time apparently. The matte painting used to portray the Federation outpost was seen as the Darwin Genetic Research Station in Unnatural Selection and as the Aquarius base in Starship Mine.
Yeah.
And then following the battle on the bridge, just after Riker declares that Franklin has been killed, another security officer steps out from a doorway just behind Riker. And according to production artist Andrew Probert's original blueprints, that door led to the dunny.
Yeah, we haven't got to that bit yet.
Stepped out of the toilet.
That's in the
have we
next
not?
act. No. But yes,
Sorry.
I'll point it out when we get there. That was actually that random picture that came up in the middle of that act. That was from that bit. That was from that bit. That randomly.
It's like
I-
trying to go up
Put my
against
piece
the
of trivia in the
black
wrong place.
I think I have
was
the answer,
rushing.
but I don't want to put it down. Because
hole. No, you got to
already-
put down. No
I'm
holdbacks. Come on.
not because I know. I'm just going based on Sean's clue.
Alright. Not afraid to face off against the black hole that is Wookiee.
Well, it's going to be 50-50, isn't it? And I don't want to be doing
Well,
that.
the season's already decided, so...
Is it?
True.
It could
I
be
didn't even hear it.
Star Trek Borg version, but is it something like that?
Alright, I think we've all the answers in. Yeah, you're right, and I'll give it to Ruth as well. So there's 3 people on the wheel. She said Star Trek arcade game. Yeah, it was the pinball game. That's correct.
Yeah.
Do you remember the pinball game in the 90s? Okay, no, maybe I wasn't obvious enough with that answer.
I only guessed you were doing that. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
it's pinball.
the virtual version came to Steam recently, and you get an hour's worth of fun out of it, but you'll get bored after that.
Right. So it's just myself and Ruth then. So this is going to go really well, isn't it? This is going to go so well.
Wookie, Wookie.
Oh, hang on. No, I don't. Stop. I didn't.
Yeah, no, too late. Too late. Oh!
He said stop. He said stop. Doesn't
No,
count.
I'm going with it now. Yes to me. Woo.
I think he was right for the other Christian, yeah?
It was Torsus, wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't think we
sorry,
actually
it was,
said
yes.
that was right.
Oh,
or not. Yeah.
yes.
Sorry, I didn't. You're right. It was Torsus. You're right. C
Yes.
and
C for Torsus. Right, Act 2. Motoring along, ish, sort of. Because of what happened, Data has relieved himself of duty, and the rest of the command crew meet in the observation lounge to discuss the differences in Borg behavior. Riker says they were fast, aggressive, more like Klingons. No offense to Worf. Worf confirms that he didn't take any. The Doc speculates that maybe Hugh had something to do with these changes in behavior. Because, that was the whole thing they were planning, really, wasn't it? That they send Hugh back with some thoughts of individuality, and that has some effect on the Borg. So, maybe. But we shall see. We shall see. Picard thinks that it's really strange. It is really strange. And wants to know what their new objective is. He charges Riker to find out all he can about the alien ship and the subspace distortion they used to escape. This is one of those scenes where, they've now taken the perspex out of the observation room window,
Yeah.
and Patrick Stewart's completely forgotten where the glass is supposed to be. Because as he stands there watching and turns around, he clearly has his head through the window.
In space.
In space. But never mind. In engineering, Geordi is servicing Data.
Oh my.
And can't find anything wrong. He's had a good look around his neural net, but everything seems A-OK. Data believes he's experienced his first emotion. Geordi wonders how he knows, but Data can't answer him. So Data challenged Geordi to describe the feeling of anger without mentioning any other feelings to reference, and Geordi admits that actually he can't do it either. Because it's like, it's like getting annoyed or hate or, and he's like, yeah, what's that? Yeah, what's that? Yeah.
Abby has a rant ready to go. I want to hear her rant.
Oh, does she?
It'll be up. It'll be up soon. It'll be
okay.
up soon.
Ah.
Woo!
Okay.
It's loaded.
She's loaded, ready to go. Okay. So Data speculates that maybe this was his first emotion and others will follow. Geordi hopes so for his friend, because he'd hate for him to be stuck with just one hateful emotion. Then Nechayev arrives on the USS Gorkon. I won't say any more about that, just in case Sean talks about it. I don't know.
I may do.
In the ready room, she outlines how Picard will head up Task Force 3, consisting of the Enterprise, Crazy Horse, and Agamemnon. She then berates him for letting Hugh go, and outlines all the plot points from iBorg. You had a Borg drone, you gave it self-worth, you had a way that you could end the Borg threat for good, but instead you send him on his way back home with a packed lunchbox to make friends. And Picard
defends himself by saying that as soon as he became an individual, a person, he was ethically compelled to respect his wishes and return him home. But she cuts him off and says, forget that morality crap. If you get a chance like this again, you're ordered to take it. And Picard's like, sir, yes, sir. Is a rant coming now, Tabby? Is it?
Oh, yes, it's definitely Nechayev based, but I'll let you finish. The scene.
This scene, we're moving now on to Data and visiting Troy in the quarters, so I don't know if you want to say anything now.
All right. I know a lot of people to call her like a bitch Chayev, but I feel like in this scene, everyone is giving her hate when, like, in the military, this is 100% spot on. And she's my favorite admiral, by the way. I'm pretty sure she's in bed with Section 31 because she's straight up always trying to kill shit. But here, you got to show up, and everyone's like on Captain Picard's side, and they're like, "Oh, she just told him to commit genocide. That's an illegal war. That you can't do that." And I'm like, "Oh, actually, yes, you can." And I don't know if anyone remembered it, but when they were going against the Davidians, these creatures literally needed human life signatures to live. And Picard was like, "Oh, can we help you find more energy?" They were like, "Nope, we've looked." Well, guess we'll just fucking kill you. Bye. No morality or anything else. And so here he's like, "Oh, this one Borg, he's got rights." But I'm like, dude, at this point in time, everyone's complaining that he just said, had to say yes, sir to her. But no one's remembering the fact that Wolf 359 almost decimated the Federation. And this was at the hands of Picard. And even though he wasn't in control, you can still feel the heat from his command and all of the Federation going, God damn, they still got that motherfucker in the seat. And then at the same time, Q comes up, right? He's given his command again. No one's faulting him because he wasn't in control. But he meets up with the Borg again. And he's like, "Oh, he's a cute little Borg, isn't he?" And he sends him home. Can you imagine what all the admirals were thinking when they got his report? Like, excuse me, the fuck what? This is the reason why he's getting cursed out in the Picard series by that admiral. That's where that F-bomb came from. So now we're coming to this, which is situation number 3 with Picard. He's like Kanye West now. Okay. Everyone's just like, "Are you freaking serious? I know you're talented, but are you mad?" And now the Borg are back from the Hugh group, and they've killed a whole base. And now they're just running free again through Federation space, wiping out mofos. So when Nechayev shows up to talk to him, you can imagine, even though it's not said, can you imagine how Picard is feeling like, well, hello, sir. And people are getting, she is his boss. And everyone's like, "Oh, Picard, the captain, you need to show him respect." I'm like, no, she's a freaking admiral, dude. If you were in the military and your admiral came in and she's your boss, you should just pick out which finger you want her to cut off. And so yeah. And this one, when he stands up and says, "Yes, sir," and just takes it, I was like, you better stand up and just take it and you get mine. And everyone's like, "Oh, Nechayev is so bad. Picard so-and-so." And I'm like, no. She should have slapped him and then walked out.
I will say, as an active soldier or military service member, whatever word you wish to use, you're completely entitled to refuse an order if it breaches the Geneva Convention or the Articles of War.
Yeah, but this one doesn't.
Straight up say no. So if it's genocide or murdering civilians or whatever it is, you can say no. You are entitled to do it.
He could do that, but he knew right away he would have to resign his captaincy immediately, and any hope of getting Data back.
Oh well. Yeah,
I mean, I totally agree with you, Tabby, and I think he realizes this, which is why he then starts, changing his tack a little bit on his future decisions. And even with Riker, when he asks Riker's opinion, and Riker's like, "Oh, it was risky and it was dangerous, and but it was the moral thing that you did." So he's basically saying, you've put us all in danger for the sake of your principles. You know, that's what Riker's telling him as well. So, I mean, Riker didn't say it in a way like he was criticizing, but what I heard when Riker said that, you know, it was risky, it was dangerous, but it was the moral thing to do. I see that as actually a criticism.
It's right,
but
we'll be dead. We'll all be dead.
But I think, you know, she is right, and I think you're right, and I think Picard realizes that as well, actually. I think if he could have that moment over again, he would have done it differently.
I do think he would, but I also still think, and I do agree with everything you say, but I still think that Picard's decision was a difficult and complex one, because you're talking about wiping out the entire race, the entire species with one action, not just one planet, not just one system, but an entire quarter of a galaxy or whatever it is worth of an entire species in one go. You know, even the Borg, who were heading to Earth, would have wiped out one planet in the Federation, but not entire humanity or the entire quadrant. And I just think that he thought that the using Hugh as a weapon in his individuality would be enough without quadrant-wide genocide. Which, and I can understand why he would think that. So I think she's right, and I think what she said is right. And he does have to, you know, respect the Admiral and to the command because he made a mistake. But I also think in the moment, Picard's decision wasn't necessarily wrong either. It's just depending on how you look at it.
I was always wondering about that episode because they made it seem like sending that program was going to kill the Borg. And I'm like, they probably wouldn't have died. They just would have been disorganized and in disarray. They made it sound like the program that they could have sent him back with was a death sentence. I don't feel like that would have been a certain death sentence.
Wasn't it?
They just would have, it would have just destroyed the collective's organization. So they would have gotten a full error.
All right, okay. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. I thought it was like
the nanoprobes wouldn't stop working. The nanoprobes would have kept them alive. It just would have destabilized their entire system. So I'm like, okay.
A bit like sending Hugh back did anyway, really, but to locally sort of thing.
No. But anyway, he made the morally correct decision, but he was not right.
No.
In that decision. You can be correct and still seek the damage. Like, I mean, if you're a pedestrian and you get hit, I'm right. That's great. You're also dead because flesh loses the steel. So
at the very least, if he felt like he couldn't go through with that plan, he should have, you know, escalated it and passed it on to his seniors to make that decision rather than making that kind of a impactful strategic decision on the behalf of the whole Federation, you know, based on feeling a bit of pity for
well, the way the Admiral says it.
But story needs to happen and all that, you know.
The Federation didn't mind, you know, because they obviously didn't reprimand him. Just Nechayev disagreed personally. But, you know, the Federation could hardly come out and say, we think you should have committed suicide. So I guess politically he was safe.
Yeah, I think that's how he got to stay in that seat and how they didn't deal with that. But I mean, like the Nechayev straight up Section 31. She is just like how they're dealing with Odo. They're like, oh, just give him that virus and send him back home. She's like, oh, just give the Borg that virus and send him back home. I was like, damn, this seems to be a pattern here.
But I honestly don't think the hate towards her is because of the fact that she was wrong or that she was saying it to Picard or anything like that. It's just because she says it with that sneering little smirky, grinny little smirky face that just annoys people, you know, and that's because she's doing a good job as an actress of being like really like a dislikable admiral, you know. It's a bit like that guy, you know, from Conspiracy, but not in Conspiracy, when he comes in like tries to find something wrong on the Enterprise and he goes like round interviewing everyone
and you just really hate him, you know, because he's just the way he just talks to the crew and that is just so snidey, and you know, he did a good job of being unlikable, and I just think she does a good job.
I deal with many more unlikable people like that, like, you know, C-level people in various big businesses, but they're not too bad to me. To my mind.
I love her attitude though, because like being in the military,
and I like that other guy. He really got the place running smoothly. He was so efficient in his approach.
Not chain of command.
I have absolutely no problem with people being
Jericho.
direct and honest.
Oh yeah, conspiracy. Sorry, that's the other one. Anyway, we must continue because.
Yes, sorry. Right, okay. So, yes, then we go to Data visiting Troy in her office, and he tells her he's trying to stimulate various emotions by listening to operas to make him happy, by watching holodeck programs that are supposed to be funny, and watching porn to, well, yeah, you know. But nothing's happening. No boing. So, Troy wonders why he hasn't tried provoking the one emotion that he's felt already, but that's because Data doesn't want to only feel negative emotions. Troy points out that anger is not necessarily negative. No, negative and positive emotions is just how you act on them. Data, though, is worried about being a bad person. Troy tells him that as far as she's known him, he's not a bad person. Data tells her, well, you know, when I killed that Borg, there is one other thing I felt. I felt pleasure. And she's like, oh. Fug.
I think she was expecting him to say guilt.
Yeah. And she's like, oh dear. It's Terminator 2 all over again. Ding, 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 ding. He killed a Borg and he liked it. And it's now question time.
Us. So, which ship did Nechayev arrive on? Monty may have said it earlier. A. Mrek, B. Azat Bor, C. Gowron, or D. Martok? And the bonus question.
You're a little bit quiet, Chief, by the way.
Oh, sorry, I'm a bit out. Hold on. Testicles 1, 2? Better?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. And the bonus question. Riker said it was more like fighting blank than the Borg. Fill in the blank.
Right. Is there anything else we want to say about this this act?
all of your answers are wrong, Sean. But
none of A, B, C, or D are correct.
Crapanori. How did I do that?
Oh, yeah.
Now if you give another 4, it's going to be obvious which one you changed.
Okay, I think everyone.
But I know what he meant. He meant Gorkon rather than Galron.
Yeah, and I just mucked up. Can someone tell me which one was his daughter?
What?
Azabor.
Azat Bor, yeah. Okay. Everyone gets points for question 2. Sorry about that. But Azat Bor was his daughter. I made a muck up there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so don't have very much for this one other than so Data says he believed he's experienced his first emotion. Some people say about how deja Q, he had that moment of laughter, describing it as a wonderful feeling. So this might be his second emotion, although other people say, well, that was just the sensation of laughter. It wasn't really, you know, an actual emotion. So
he was happy.
Couple of starship names mentioned in this: the Crazy Horse, named after a Native American, and the
Agamemnon,
which I think most people have got the answer to the question, which was named after a Klingon Chancellor.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And in fact, that was the first Federation Star Trek to be named for a non-human race, which was suggested by Rick Berman. And then, in the original drafts of the script, it was called the Valiant. But then later in Discovery, they feature other ships that are named after particular aliens, like the USS Planahath and the USS Sharan. And that's it.
Do you happen to know the name of Gorkon's ship in Star Trek 6?
Oh God! No, I can't remember. We're gonna have to move on. Go on, tell me.
Kronos 1. And,
Kronos
it's
1,
featured.
yes.
It's in the Federation, or like the Starship Museum in Picard season 3.
Cool. So yes, it's Gorkon.
Stupid didn't answer the bonus,
No.
so I guess we'll have to go with
Quickly, write Klingon in somewhere, Steve.
Ruth didn't answer the main question. I don't know if that's because it was erroneous.
I think points for everyone on question 2 because
bit-
it'd be unfair otherwise. Because I made a boo boo.
Funny enough,
Okay.
I know it
Points
says
for
Gowron,
everyone.
but I read Gorkon for some reason. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Don't let it end like this, Captain.
right. So who we got then? We've got Tabby, Maz, Ruth, and myself.
Ruth.
Tabby, Maz, Ruth, and myself. And
Maybe
Maz.
we can put
Maz.
Wookiee on
Yeah.
twice.
Yeah.
Probably put Wookiee on one more time. No?
What? Sorry.
She's
put
asking
Wookiee on
for
twice.
Wookiee to be put on multiple times.
No.
Why?
No, we don't want to do that. Right, I'm spinning. Do do
I tried.
do 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 do.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Is it going to be a Maz? Oh,
Well done,
stuck in
Maz.
there.
I thought I might be 3 for 3 there. for a
Cleverly.
minute.
Well, yeah. Somebody needed to break your winning streak.
Someone needed to. Yeah. Okay, so Act 3.
She needs to be punched in her damn face. My rant is in the chat.
Later on in the bridge, you get a red alert, but as soon as they get it, it gets cancelled. This has been happening all day. Then later in the ready room, Riker reports that Geordi has found the Borg used something called a transwarp conduit to move their ship. Picard doesn't want to hear it though, because he's lamenting his decision over Hugh. As you said earlier, he's looking back over the records and thinking, oh damn, I fucked up. Damn it. So yes, he's not really listening to what Riker's got to say. You notice there, to actually make that scene work and have Riker lean over like that, they removed his chairs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there are no chairs. They're not there. Then Geordi visits Data in the holodeck, who's busy murdering holographic Borg drones. He keeps trying it over and over again, until raising the difficulty each time until he exceeds the safety limits of the holodeck. He tries to convince Geordi to turn off the safeties, but Geordi refuses, even though Data asserts it's his own life to do with as he chooses. As it is, they then get called to the bridge because there's another Borg attack on MS-1 colony. They arrive to find the Borg ship. It tries to get away through the transwarp conduit, but this time the Enterprise follows them. And that is the end of Act 3 and question time.
So,
Wow, that was quick.
yeah, the Act 1 is very long, so the rest of them are kind of quick. Yeah, what was the name of the colony that transmitted a false alarm? A. New Bajor, B. New Paris, C. New Berlin, or D. New Eden? And what kind of corridor did the Enterprise enter to follow the Borg ship?
Oh my god. This is going to have to be a guess for the first one because I didn't write it down.
Oh, gives and gives. In First Contact, Data also kills a Borg by breaking his neck. And I just think, like, when he's on the holodeck doing this, it's just kind of and it's dark humor, but it strikes me as quite funny how he's doing it so matter-of-factly.
Stop.
And with
Stop.
yeah, and then like he flings him really hard, but with like no effort or anything. It's just quite.
And then looks disappointed, kind of shakes his head and goes,
yeah, so this is the first instance in which the holodeck safety protocols are disabled or asked to be disabled. And in this instance, Data says it will take 2 command level officers to disable them. In other series, that sort of changes, but it would have been so much better if 2 officers were needed for it in future, because there are so many examples of where this is abused over time, often when people are going through psychological problems. So you'd think as a safety measure that would have definitely stayed in place. I can think of times when Worf has disabled safeties when he shouldn't have, and B'Elanna, maybe it's a Klingon thing. B'Elanna Torres, when she starts doing crazy sort of base jumping and stuff because she's going through a hard time. And it just strikes me as being a really common sense approach that it's a shame that they changed that. Then finally, this marks the first reference to, we've all answered, so the Borg's transwarp conduits. 8 years later, there'll be a key element in Endgame in 2001.
Yeah, so as Wookie says in chat, have you heard that rumours that the Star Trek Voyage Home, the Star Trek 4 Calvin timeline film is going to go ahead?
I doubt it. I think what's going to happen, and it's all very, very up in the air, but I think Paramount is probably going to split in 2. It's going to sell off a lot of its stuff, and Star Trek might be spun off to one of the bigger studios. And I'm really, really hoping it's Universal, because Universal has theme parks. So, because if Universal gets it, we're going to get a Star Trek land. And there's a Universal opening in, I think it's Kent or Bedford. They're opening one up. So,
really?
if all the stars were to align the right way in 2 years' time,
can you
go to
imagine
Bedford
that?
to Star Trek land. Or Trek Yards or whatever, Trek Land, whatever they want to
somewhere
call
to
it.
stay and everything.
Starbase 1.
Bedford is literally the most boring place on this planet, so it needs something like
It needs
Universal.
something
Well, Universal are going to open up a studio there. I'm putting 2 and 2 together and getting 47. I'm extrapolating a lot here, but I'm just hoping that
See, my other half's from Bedford. That's where my in-laws live, so could be a convenient base of operations for us to explore Universal.
But I'm just hoping that if it does get sold off, that Universal buy it, because that means that we get as I said, we get equivalent to Star Wars Galaxies. We'll get something like that, but for Star Trek.
Nice.
So I think there's extra value in it for that reason. So here,
Wow.
may never happen. It's like a 1% chance, but that's what I hope happens.
Fingers crossed.
Very
Right,
cool.
answers to the questions?
Yeah.
Everybody got both the same, and presumably both right.
New Berlin and Transwarp, yeah.
So
Sean, you did say, when Tavi a while back said she always goes for C because C's always right, and you said, I'll have to stop making the correct answers C then. And yet you keep repeatedly putting the correct answer as C.
Well, the last question I mucked up, and then... Jesus, I did do that. Yeah, I did put 3 C's in a row.
C,
Okay,
C, C.
yeah.
No wonder she guesses it. It must be mentally
You're not
where people
supposed to
put
tell
it.
them.
It normally takes me 2 hours to do the answers for one episode. I did 2 episodes in 2.5 hours because I ran out of time, so I may not have put the same thought in I usually do. So might explain some of these anomalies. Sorry.
hopefully I put everyone on the wheel.
Stew.
Yes, well done. The plum gets it. Okay, Act 4. Here we go. Here's the Enterprise going through a transwarp conduit. Just for reasons. They exit the conduit and find that the Borg ship is dead ahead, facing them, and it fires. There it is. Firing. A green. It's firing pure green.
We're literally covered in green.
Yeah. As they get
shot at some Borg. 2 Borg appear. I like this shot because do you know what I noticed on this shot? You can see they've added like strip lights to the control panels to helm and ops here, because to give them like a backlight, like when you see the ship.
Yeah, to illuminate their faces.
To illuminate their faces, yeah. But they just put the camera slightly too high here, so you can actually see the strip lights that they've attached to the front of the consoles.
Could you just go back to the previous shot for just 1 second? Because it just... maybe... Or is that the next one again? Oh, sorry. It looked like he was on the con. But it's just whatever way that angle is. He's at the... he's at his normal station. Sorry, that's okay.
Oops, wrong button. Yeah, so, yes, in the commotion, 2 Borg beam onto the bridge. They kill one of the bridge crew before Worf shoots them both. Whilst distracted, the Borg ship scarpers, and Data finds that one of the Borg is still alive. So the Doc checks the Borg out whilst it's in the brig, and Picard orders he be awoken, against the Doc's advice. Docs always say that, though, don't they? When they've got a prisoner and they're knocked out and he says, wake them, they go, oh, we can't. Wake them! That's always what they say. Once up, Picard requests his designation, but it turns out the Borg doesn't have a designation. It has a name, and his name is Croesus, a name given him by the One who will destroy them. He then goes on to tell them how they will die. Each one human, carotid artery, slit, and all that sort of stuff. Picard tries the I'm Locutus of Borg maneuver. You must obey me, but that doesn't work either. It's Croesus here. He's kind of like the main Borg in the episode, apart from you. Has Worf's pendant that he has on his tabard over his eye. So,
yep.
Anyway, I noticed that.
Zathras knows you are not the one.
Zathras knows you're not the one.
Not the one. Not
the one. Have you seen that the animation film's out for that now?
No.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're talking Babylon 5 for those who don't know.
Yeah. Picard orders the Doc to do an autopsy on the dead Borg, and for Data to see if the Borg is projecting any subspace signals. So once Data's left alone with the Borg tells Data that he can be assimilated, as he is worthy. He is fully synthetic. He touches a button on his arm that seems to affect Data. He asked Data about the emotion he felt on the planet and asked, did it feel good? And Data replies, yes, which disagrees with Data's ethical programming and causes him some confusion. Croesus continues to taunt Data and twist his thoughts, asking Data who his best friend is, and Data confirms it's Geordi. And he said, would you kill Geordi if it meant you could feel that pleasure again? And in the end, Data concedes that he would indeed kill Geordi to feel that emotion again. Meanwhile, on the bridge, Geordie's blissfully aware of the conversation that's going on below them in the brig, and is giving an overview of how the transwarp conduit works and how they signal it to open when a shuttle pod is detected leaving the shuttle bay. We do get a nice picture of a display of the transwarp conduit there thing. Worf can't get a look because the tractor beam has been disabled. Geordi reports that it is attempting to open the transwarp conduit, and Worf confirms that the shuttle pod contains the Borg prisoner and Commander Data. The shuttle pod then transwarps away. And that is the end of Act 4. Question time.
Alrighty then. Sorry. Yeah, so, first question. Who does Data state is his friend in this scene? It's too easy. I'm not giving options. And the bonus question is...
Is it C? Oh.
And unfortunately, this is going to be too easy earlier because Mazza already said it, but I wrote the question before that. Which unusual room off the bridge did the second security officer come out of after the first security officer was killed? No, it's fine. And the thing is, I didn't even look at the trivia. I just saw it and I went, that's odd. But anyway, look, that happens. You're always going to talk about things I have questions on. It's just the way it goes.
Well, at least by asking questions about Father Ted, you can guarantee we're not going to be talking about it.
That's true. That's true.
He was in Babylon 5 too, you know. As something. Hold on.
I think we mentioned that when he was in the previous episode.
Oh, did we? Okay, fair enough.
Because he was in a previous episode, wasn't he, before this?
He was also playing. What's his face? Einstein.
Okay, so truth for this act. The scene in which the Enterprise is traveling through the transport conduit is reminiscent of the energy vortex from Times Squared from 1989. I don't know if they use some of the same.
I think it's the same clip. I think it
it's the same clip.
Well, it looks the same. I mean, it's definitely the 6-foot model rather than the 4-foot model by the looks of it. So I think,
of course.
I think
Bit too
it's
smooth,
it's the smooth one, which they don't use this time really anymore until Generations.
No, it's getting quite late on now.
So yeah, I think it is the reuse.
And there's some. Well, I mean, it's. I guess it's just an inconsistency issue around the brig. So the controls for closing off the force field to the prisoner's cell has been done in many different ways. So in this episode, there's a crew man sat at a control console and activates and deactivates it. In iBorg, there was a panel on a wall to operate it. And in an earlier episode than that, Picard was able to turn it on off with voice commands. But you could, sort of argue that they've increased security or, remodeled it over time to make it more secure, like away from voice commands and, things like that. But yeah, it's just sort of showing maybe how it evolved over time rather than being an inconsistency.
Well, you don't want to use voice commands because if it's anything like my Alexa, like I'll be like, raise force field.
If they're anything like Data, they could fake your voice anyway.
It'll just start playing like, I don't know, country and western music or something. I'll be like, no, stop, raise force field. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, no.
You can imagine they'd have different security levels in the brig. Like one brig might be minimum security and the other, like this one might be maximum security.
Well, the one thing I would hope is, okay, it's fine if it's just someone being, like an enlisted being punished. Obviously, you wouldn't need too much security. They're just going in there to do their time. But it's a Borg. And they just leave Data alone in the room with him. Not a second person. No one on CCTV.
Data, who just recently kind of malfunctioned.
Yeah.
He's only just been cleared for duty.
Yeah, but you wouldn't leave any one person in. Just doesn't make sense.
No, you wouldn't. Well, the security guard is still there, though. So,
apparently. Weird. They're having this
Presumably.
conversation.
Like I'm saying in chat, Troy should have never let him go back on duty. He's psychologically unsound. The man's taken over the ship before.
That's
office
absolutely.
And says, I'm having pleasurable thoughts about killing people. It's like, you're going to be off for a little bit until we fix this for show. For show.
He has lightning speed and superhuman strength and can mimic any person's voice on the ship. You'd think, if he's having psychological problems, they'd restrict him to quarters or something.
Or just implement biometric commands. You just have to do handprint scans to do things. To stop him taking over the ship. Unless he cuts off someone's hand. But other than that.
Like everyone must be rattled because JF is there and they know that they're like on like the fuck up list. And so everyone's just nervous and making stupid decisions. Because I'm like, you went through a transwarp. You're the lead ship in your group. You didn't send no message.
Didn't send a message. Left the group.
Yeah, this particularly bothered me. I made a note about this in my in my notes. Just like, why would they pursue something like this and not check in, not tell their group? I mean, poor leadership, poor operation, going against direct orders, really.
Yeah.
A whole fleet. You ain't say nothing. You think that Chev is gonna want to kick your ass now? Everyone's mad at the Chev because she's a bitch. But this is why.
Yeah.
I would be the same way.
She's annoyed at Picard for a reason.
Yeah, no, I have to say, I did notice that. Yeah, it's, yeah, they've messed up big time.
As an FYI, not really important, but the security ensign in the brig is the Bajoran. Apparently, you know, the Borg was sort of cataloguing Klingon, this is how I would kill you. Human, this is how I would kill you.
Bajoran.
There was apparently a cut line where he said, Bajoran, which are the lower ventricle of the heart. Death is immediate. But it wasn't included.
Oh, yeah. That's a nice that's a nice thing, because the Bajoran heart doesn't have a left and a right, it's top and bottom. Nicely done.
And then finally, the shuttle that Data used. Oh, actually, we don't really see the name of it till later. Does it matter? Should I say the name? Is it a question?
Prefer you didn't.
Okay, I won't. Let's leave that one then. Trivia over.
I was just going to say something when Tavi said. She goes, that right about the heart. Funnily enough, the lieutenant who's taken tactical in the second episode, he played Ubudan in D Space Nine, and they knew he was the killer because they had an idea of Bajoran anatomy, because they knew where to stab him based on it, the way the Bajoran heart was structured. Anyway, it just happens to be the same actor, which is just a hell of a coincidence that you asked that question.
Thanks, Sean.
Sorry, answer, Scooby. Yeah, so it was Geordie, and it was the head or toilet. I'm getting a lot of Geordie toilets.
Head, Dunny, toilet, WC, and Boggs. Everybody gave a different answer.
Yes,
all correct.
It's an Anton Deck toilet. Yes, that's exactly one of those. Why, aye, man? Need to go to the Jaxie.
I think that's the same as what we were before, so I can just spin it. And it's going to be do 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 do.
Tavi!
Yay, Tavi! You got one.
Nice.
We're spreading it around. We're spreading the wheel love. Spreading the wheel love. Okay, so last act of part 1. Let's just get through it. Geordie thinks they can recreate the tachyon beam to open the conduit, and Worf confirms that it is Data's codes that disabled the tractor beam. So the question is, was he coerced, or did he do it voluntarily? Geordie thinks... Geordie does his... Geordie does his thing with the transwarp conduit, and they open it up and travel through the portal again. This time they pop out near 3 systems that all have evidence of civilizations, but no life signs. They eventually find the shuttle's energy signature that points to one planet ahead. Once they arrive, they find that there is a lot of interference in the atmosphere, so scanning is impossible. So Riker and Worf and his security team decide to beam down blind. Oh, I was just pointing out this. Sorry, I just put this picture in here, this link. I've forgotten why. Only because when they beam down, they're in this field. And this field just happens to be the exact same field used in the TOS episode, Paradise Lost, is it? Or
Yeah,
Paradise
Lost. Yeah,
Lost.
The spores.
Yeah, one with the spores. And in fact, this is the exact same field. Like these trees over here, and that field, that mountain range in the background, and this field with the sloping banks, is these trees here, these mountains in the
side
background.
Of Paradise, sorry.
This side of Paradise, yeah, and a field with these sloping banks. So it's a slightly different angle, but it's
like
exactly,
200 or 300 meters away. Yeah.
I think even they later on they lay down by a big oak tree, and I think it's this oak tree here, and they lay under it, and.
Oh, nice. Oh, where they're sitting. They're
sitting against a tree.
Good.
I think it's this exact tree. So this is that set, basically. The scene is all filmed on this, in this particular. They sniff flowers and all turn into like tree huggers, basically, and they're all happy. And they decide.
Yeah, they get cybocked.
Yeah, they get cybocked. The
pain goes away.
That's it. The pain goes away. And cybox. So anyway, they find the shuttle, no one's around. They determine that it's been here for 3 hours, so Geordie calculates that they've probably got around 15 kilometres away by now. Picard orders the other away teams to beam down and start search pattern, using all their shuttlecraft to search the skies. Leaving a skeleton crew aboard, Geordie asks who's going to command the Enterprise, and Picard puts it in the hands of Dr. Crusher.
acting captain, Dr. Crusher. Picard tells the Doc that if the Borgs attack, don't wait around, grab as many crew as you can, and head back to Federation space. The crew set up a command post and go searching the planet, and just as it looks like they can't find anything, Troy finds a building. So Picard and Geordi and Troy and a red shirt all head towards the building, where Geordi scans and finds a door. They let themselves in, and it's a fancy-looking hall. They realise that the tricorders don't work, and then a lot of Borg enter the room. And unfortunately, the red shirt bites the dust. Here's a picture of the red shirt exit stage left. And Data turns up. At least they think it's Data, but in fact it is not. Troy realizes straight away that isn't Data. It's Lore.
My absolute favorite.
Yeah.
So all guys know that I am the lore whore, and while I love the hell out of Data, he is quickly shoved aside to get me some of that bad boy. Woo! Murder bot, come on over here.
The bad boy is back.
The family disappointment.
Yeah, but that's not all. He brings out Data, who tells them that the sons of Sung have reunited together to finally destroy the Federation. Dun, 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 dun. And that was the end of part 1. And we have our final question time for this episode.
And in anticipation for speed, if people can start putting their marks out of 10 in the chat, that'd be good.
Marks out of 10 in the chat. Finish. Are we gonna continue the bingo, or are we gonna do bingo for this episode?
I think we normally do it for each separate episode.
Bingo set for this episode then. So bingo scores in. What do you think this episode is out of 10?
Well,
Put
we
it in
don't have
live
to.
chat.
We can continue the bingo if we want to do it at the end. More chance of people getting lines, I guess.
Well, like,
Sean
are the
won't have to
scores,
change all his
are the
docs
scores
again.
for this one separated?
I don't mind. Whatever's easiest.
Yeah, they are.
Okay. I think I want to keep bingo for the whole run. I don't think Sean is going to be changing.
Let's keep the bingo going.
Bingo's going then. That's fine. So yeah. Descent, isn't it? Yes, descent.
Questions? Yeah. Sorry, Sean.
Questions? Yes. Sean.
Sorry. Yeah, which shuttle was found abandoned on the Borg planet? A. Curie, B. Elbaz, C. Voltaire, or D. Onizuka? And the bonus question, Lore refers to him and Data as the sons of who?
Okay, so in terms of tricks and chats, I'll try and get pretty quick-ish. After they learned that Data and the Borg had escaped, nobody actually checks on the guy in the brig, the Bajoran guy, and whether he's okay, whether he's been killed. So, yeah, nobody said. They don't try and contact him. A bit callous, one thinks. This episode marks the third time that the Enterprise D is commanded by a female officer. Tasha Yar was the first, while Commander Riker was supervising repairs at the holodeck in episode The Big Goodbye. Troy was the second during episode Disaster. Darian Wallace, a background actor played by longtime extra Guy Barterman, receives his last name in this episode. They said Wallace and Towell were the remaining people back at the base camp. So, yeah, he's Darian Wallace. The Borg building was also... it's the Brandeis Bardin Institute, which was previously used as Camp Kittimer in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, and is also more famous as the command center in the Mighty Morphing Power Rangers from 1993.
Go Power Rangers!
The banners inside the Borg fortress display the Borg emblem designed by Rick Sternbach, and as seen first aboard the Borg ship in Q. However, it's displayed upside down, reflecting the status of the Borg as being renegades from the collective. And although many Borg appear in the final scenes, there are actually 11 extras, and they multiplied or used split screen to, make it seem like there were more of them. And that's about it for the final scene.
How's that by locating it just manually like that? That's not bad.
That was fast, yeah.
There you go.
It's impressive.
I also know, not exactly, but the area that where that field was is somewhere down here. It's like around here somewhere, but I don't know exactly where. But it's if you look at these areas here, when you see like Star Trek planets, it's like generally like this area, like in Insurrection and things. It's like around the same area. It's around here, but yeah. It's actually a part of a that building is actually a part of a Jewish university. It's like a
You mean a university?
yeah, it's like a it's like a concert hall type thing. You can't actually get to it. It's all like behind like fences and things. You need special permission from the university to like visit this place. It's not like some of the other locations that you can just go up and visit. Yeah, there's no way of getting to that place. There we go. Right. So scores for this, the final score sheet of season 6. Mass? Oh, we need the answers. I guess we need the answers to the final question.
Sorry. I got my paddle out for that score. We got these scores.
Yep, sorry.
Okay. So with 10 points, with 440 TNG review points is... Oh, no, we haven't done the final...
Yeah, I was about to say, I've got to do the spinal spin. Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, my God.
Sorry, it's Elbaz and Sons
everybody
of
said
Sung.
Soon.
Yeah, Sons of Sung, yeah.
Elbaz was the only show pod name that I knew, so that's why I went B, because I was like, Elbaz is the only one that I know, so that's what I'm going with.
Good guess.
Unfortunately, I think Ruth... everyone got the... Did everyone
Ruth
get the
went
bonus?
D, yeah.
But everybody said
Ruth
Sung,
went
though,
D
didn't they?
But everybody got the bonus.
Sung.
Spin a winnie win.
Right, so I can just spin it.
I honestly thought I'd catch a few people out with that one. Oh, well.
Oh, no.
Yes!
Well, I mean, it keeps
Whoop, whoop, whoop,
everybody on board.
Well, yeah, effectively, it doesn't mean anything if everyone's on board.
For everyone. That's true.
So nobody lost out at all. You're all
Nobody lost out, no. We all lost. We're all losers.
But if you'd all won, it would have been the same difference. It makes no odds.
Loser, baby.
Okay.
We are
Cool.
losers.
So,
Okay, so go
we
on.
have one clear winner with 430 TNG review points is Monty Ban. So 10 points to you, Monty Ban. Woo! Next, we have a 3-way tie. So what was that? 9, 8, 7 averages out to an 8. So 8 points for Tavi, Hans Duplum, and myself.
Yay!
And then Rufus, just for missing that last question there, comes in next position with 9, 8, 7, 6 points.
Wow. And that has not changed the leaderboard at all. So myself, I came into second.
We'll carry on the bingo.
came bronze, and Tavikins, you actually officially claimed the gold. Congratulations.
Matches your uniform. It's gold.
However,
He's doing a rimmer salute.
Maz gets
to Tavikins.
Maz gets the moral win because she has an extra 100
I
smile
have
points.
extra smiler points.
So that was 286. So okay. So what do we give this episode then? Out of 10. Let me find my my board.
Padel. We have uniform scores in chat of 8, 8, and 8. So you could already fill in the
Eight,
audience
eight,
score, which
8.
averages as 8.
8. Are you ready? Are you set?
Ready.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Doing.
Controversial.
9, 7, 8,
Oh,
7.
now I thought Tabby was going to go like 10s all around because of data and lore. I thought I was going to be the controversial one, but no, we both had 7.
Which one was which?
I said 7, Tabby said 7, Sean
was
said
8.
8.
7, 7, 8. So I
Pretty
you know,
close to 8 all round though. Not that far off.
So, well, it kind of comes out as a sort of average high for this season, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's only fistful of data is this way out there, but I'm surprised Tavi didn't give it a 10. But I guess that all that Nacheyev stuff just knocked you way down.
So it had lore
that-
in it, you know.
You
Troy,
can't have
the
that
way
many
they-
rants and give it a 10, right?
No, this one had me fuming through the entire thing, and I only stopped long enough to perv on data and then really perv out on lore. It was originally a 6, but lore and data made it a 7.
Well, you know what it is for me. You know it. It's going to be. There was ship porn. There was phaser fire. There was ship battles. There was flying through transwarp conduits to unknown parts of the galaxy. There were Borg. There was lore. There was subterfuge. There were people breaking out of prisons. There, for me, I thought it was just really action packed and. Yeah, it kind of flew by, and I kind of like, The Enterprise crew not doing a great job. But I really enjoyed it. I actually never really liked the Descent Part 1 and 2 all that much as far as the two-parters go. I love Chain of Command and I love Best of Both Worlds and even Unification with Spock, but Descent's not ever been one of my favourites, but it's one of those ones that this time round, because I haven't watched it very much, I thought it was a lot better than I remember.
I do like the sets, the main hall that they built.
The main hall's cool, isn't it?
It's very intricate. The base is not great. It's just a couple of sets chopped together. It's okay, but the hall, okay, it does look like a set in the way it's structured, but I just the amount of intricate detail, it looks like a real place.
Location shooting, climbing up hills, shuttle pods in fields.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just, for a TNG episode, I think it had a lot more than.
Yeah, they
than the
definitely
average
had a little
episode.
bit of budget left at the end of the season, and they blew it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if they didn't spend it, they'd lose it. So they just made sure they spent it.
They didn't spend it. They spent it on Deep Space Nine. So they blew it on this. Yeah. So we're going to. Yeah. I would stay and chat about this a bit longer, and maybe we can do a bit more of that next week. But unfortunately, we haven't got time for that.
Yeah, next week.
Oh no, not next week then. Maybe the week after. I'm just sorry.
The third.
And I hate to mention this, Monty Pam, but on your score sheet, you don't have it actually set up for season 7 at all, do you?
No.
Well, you can just mark
I'll
down the
be-
scores
It's fine.
for
We
one
can
day.
just capture the scores and you can sort out the spreadsheet.
I'll sort that out on the fly while Sean's reading out some questions in a minute.
Oh, very clever.
Don't you worry about that. I've got that covered.
Multitasking.
Okay. Sorry, I've just had to reset everything and
Hopefully
We're-
everybody's still hanging in there. If the
We're
next one
go.
also takes an hour and 3/4, then we'll be done around midnight.
remember, Sean, try to,
Yeah, we've talked about most things.
Okay, so Descent Part 2. is-
Sean's actually been quite quiet tonight. Tabby's been the more vocal one, I would say.
Yeah.
And most of it had to be in chat.
It was
We
a
would've been here all night.
beautiful rant though. It was like we've been waiting for that rant all season, and when it was delivered, it was a thing of beauty. So yeah, we liked it.
So
And I
yes,
wasn't even tipsy this time.
yeah, episode 1 of season 7. We're into season 7, ladies and gentlemen. Production number 40277-253. It first aired on the 20th of September 1993 and was the 152nd episode to be both produced and released. This one was written by Rene Echeverria. It was his 11th of 18 episodes, and it was again directed by Alexander Singer. One thing to note about Alexander Singer was one of his directing styles was if he didn't like what actor was doing as they were acting, he'd just pull faces at them rather than actually use any words. He'd just go, or something. People had to read what his dramatic facial features meant. Anyway, it's one of those like quirks of him as a director. Anything very quick from the production notes on this one?
Just that, there were lots of balls in the air. They had a lot of things to catch. They had a lot of story to tell. There had so many riches. They weren't quite sure, what things to emphasize or not. Hugh sort of took a bit of a backseat to some of the other themes around cultism and such like. But yeah, it's just a very sort of rich, often it's like, what do we do with this? Whereas with this, it was like, there's too much that we can do with this.
Yeah.
So that was their challenge.
Riches. So, we're back in the hall, and Troy is surprised that she can sense feelings coming from Data. I'm guessing that's why she knew it wasn't Data that first stepped out onto the thing, because she felt Laura's feelings and the way Laura is. So, yeah, but now she can actually feel feelings coming from Data. Though Laura admits to not giving up the emotion chip. He's hanging on to that because it's giving him a sense of family. Picard keeps trying to engage Data, but Laura keeps stepping in. Laura tells Picard how he found the mess of Borg that the Enterprise crew had made by unleashing Q on them and gave them a sense of purpose. All the time, Picard doesn't care about any of that. He just keeps trying to communicate to Data. Data continues that the Borg now aspire to be fully artificial life forms like themselves. The reign of the biological life forms is over, and Data takes them to their cells. And that's the end of the teaser and the first question time of not just this episode, but the season.
Just keep it there.
There you go.
Okay, so Tavi may have mentioned this, but how many Borg in total are there in the 2 episodes? A11, B12, C13, or D14? And the bonus question, sorry, I needed a question. In the Insurrection, what song does Picard use to distract Data?
We've had that question recently, I'm pretty sure.
We may have done. I did the questions in a rush, and I just need
I
to throw
didn't get it
something.
right last time either.
What the hell is this, Sean? What? How many
No
Borg in
answer to
total
either of
are
those
there?
questions.
What?
I will. Mazza did say it.
I will say that my A there for the first question was a complete and utter guess. If anybody wants to go copying me, that is no authority on that A. I literally just picked one.
Well, it's good game theory because if everyone answers the same, then nobody gains and nobody loses. Whether it's right or wrong, you're just hedging your bets.
I mean, I don't know actually. Actually, I might. Can I change it?
Now I said that.
No, I'm checking on what I said previously. Where is it? So is it how many Borg in total, or how many extras?
How many Borg in total?
in total?
Yeah, you must have it in your notes because you said it a minute ago.
Yeah, I only say how many extras there are, but presumably Hugh and other people are on top of that.
Oh, well, I wasn't including those. I was including the number that they use as General Borg.
So the extras. Okay.
Yeah, the number you said, yeah.
So,
Anyway,
yes, go on.
I have like virtually no anything for the start there. Just got to say, Laura, I know Tavi, unpopular opinion with you, but he's so sort of creepy and smarmy. He just really makes me cringe. It's like You know, you get those baddies and some things that you just. It's just no, literally like you show him and I'm just like, oh, I just don't want to look at it. It just makes me cringe.
I think I'm just evil aligned.
So take it away, take it away.
Brent
But I
Spiner,
love how
though,
they-
does such a good job, doesn't he, of being like the wholesome
He does,
data
yeah.
and then being
does.
like the ultra smarmy kind of lore. It's amazing how like completely different they are.
Well, particularly in Picard
is.
season 3, where he's playing the two in the same body and he's swapping back and forth to doing the Jekyll and Hyde thing, and his facial expression changes, and it's just like from an evil smirk to a joyful innocence, and he just goes back and forth, back and forth. It's fantastic. Yeah, I really have to appreciate his acting.
And the only other thing I had, which was about the preamble, but I didn't fit it in because I knew we were rushing. But in an early draft of the script, Barclay was supposed to be on the bridge in this episode. But due to sort of scheduling and stuff, they couldn't do that. So Ensign Tate was used to replace him. But then Rene Echevarria said, oh, in any event, Barclay was quite senior, so would have been down there foolishly with all the rest of it.
Yes, right.
Barclay was
foolishly.
Barclay was a full lieutenant. Tate was a full lieutenant, so it would have been about the same. I did read in the trivia.
Tate was an ensign.
Yeah. Ensign Tate.
Oh, Ensign Tate. Was it? I thought he had two gold.
She.
She.
the lady
Oh,
on-
Tate. Sorry, I'm
Bridge,
thinking
not
I'm thinking of
Barnaby.
your man.
Barnaby, yeah.
Yes. Oh, that makes
fine.
more sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a
Okay,
who,
sorry.
And a who.
So I'll give you the answers. A, 11, and B, it was a British tar. I'm not going to accept Ruth's answers because that would just be cruel.
What was it?
Unless you want to...
What was the answer?
A British tar. A British tar is a soaring soul, feeds a mighty bird.
Oh.
Yeah, that was definitely not the question we had the other day.
No, that wasn't it. No.
It was about
that-
the song
that-
though, but-
That was what does he sing in Nemesis, which is Blue Skies.
Oh, that was it.
that
it.
was the one.
That was the thing I was. So Ruth is wrong with Gilbert and
His
Sullivan.
arm
isn't
should brow and his lips should curl. It was a Gilbert and Sullivan song, but I won't accept
So
it.
she's
'cause
kind of
it'd be
right
cruel.
though, isn't she?
No. Unless you want to put me on the
Question
wheel.
Master has last day.
Could we have a new rule for the season?
Hang on,
You put
hang
me
on.
on the wheel.
Let's ask Ruth. Ruth, would you like to be on the wheel, or would you like the
with
gamble of
Wookie.
extra points, or do you want to risk, or would you not rather risk it?
You
Got a
can
50-50
put me on the
chance.
wheel, and if I go on the wheel, everyone wins. And if Wookiee's on the wheel, everyone
No,
loses.
that wouldn't be fair. That wouldn't be fair on Ruth, would it? If everyone won.
Ruth's the only one who got the question right. Sort of
Yeah.
right.
I think she should. No, it's okay.
You can have the
No.
minus point.
No, she just doesn't
Okay.
want any of that business. No. Okay, fair
Smiler's
enough.
all up for Sean going on the wheel, but I feel like if he did, it would have to be something else other than everybody gets points.
Yeah.
Maybe
Oh, yeah,
everybody
'cause
has
that
to
would
do
be-
something stupid, but
That would be
let's
pointless.
maybe
yeah.
determine that next week.
Act 1.
Okay.
Here we go. Let's get on. Meanwhile, on the Enterprise, Dr. Crusher is working with a young Ensign Tate, who is subbing as tactical officer. Riker checks in, and they realise that they can't contact Picard or any of his team. Then they make matters worse. To make matters worse, the Borg ship's heading towards them. Oh no! The Doc asks Tate how long it's going to be before they get there, and first she says 90 seconds, but then corrects herself to 70 seconds. So Crusher contacts the transporter room and orders Salazar to start transporting the away teams up. Riker informs her that he and Worf are staying behind to look for Picard and his team. Beverly doesn't like it, but Riker reminds her of her orders to get the crew back to Federation space, so she agrees. Tate tells Beverly that they now have 20 seconds, but Salazar says there's still 73 on the planet. They wait to the very last minute, and then the Doc raises the shields, and they get hit by the Borg ship. Beverly orders a frequency shift firing pattern and fire, and Tate's like, okay. And they fire some torpedoes, so I assume Tate's done the right thing. Beverly then orders the Enterprise to transwarp conduit, and luckily the Borg do not follow. Salazar reports that they left 47 crew members behind. On the planet, Riker orders all other teams to take cover, whilst he and Worf go after Picard and his team. Data is still escorting Picard and Geordi and Troy to the brig or the jail or the cell, wherever it is they're holding them, and Picard is trying to get through to him, but Data is not listening. Data tells him that his quest to become human was misguided. He tells Troy that the only emotions are of anger and hatred. Geordi tries to convince him that Lore is only feeding them these negative emotions, but Data points out that Troy herself said that no emotions are negative or positive. It's only how the person acts on them that makes them good or bad. He takes their comm badges and Geordi's visor and declares that he's not their puppet anymore. And that is the end of Act 1. Question time. Oh. I was saying he's not there. He's gone.
Oh, we can't hear you because you're muted.
Sorry, I'm having some issues with my earphones. I'm trying to sort it out, and just that I caught it me out. Okay, question 1. How many torpedoes does Crusher fire? A1, B2, C3, D4? And the other question, other than comm badges, what other item does Data seize? So what other item?
Eek.
This is going to be...
Yes.
This is going to be a guess.
Mm-hmm.
And... Well, I know that one.
No.
I know the bonus.
So when I think probably Sean can probably give a reason for this one, but when Crusher gives an order, helm, set course to the conduit. Oh, maybe that's later.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think
it's
they're quite
later.
calling it.
Because is it the heading? Because it's 340.
Yeah, I think it's later when they deploy the probe. Sorry, forget that.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a 47
go on.
reference. Did anybody spot it?
Yes, there's 47 people left behind on the planet.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
So soon after they're captured, Data removes their comm badges and other stuff, presumably so that they can't be tracked. Yeah, he's still wearing one. Can his not
Didn't
be
notice
tracked?
that. Well done.
Well, I
He
guess
could have
he's
been
not...
tracked, then surely they would have used that to track him anyway.
They might have tried to contact other people on the planet, or...
Could have dismantled it and tried to create some sort of phase wave.
we also know they couldn't detect the building.
I thought that's why he took the visor, because they used Geordie's visor in Starship Mine as a frequency pulse thing to like disable everyone. So I thought he knew that, and that's why he took his visor. But that's not the reason. But I thought that's why he did it initially.
But they
And
said the
look, teeny
radiation's
tiny
so
bit of
bad
trips.
they couldn't detect the film. Or sorry, they couldn't detect the building, even when they were only like just the crest of the bridge, the thing, and they were looking straight at it. So yeah, I don't think the comm badges would help. Sorry.
And a tiny bit of trib. Sorry, I'm eating this absolutely gorgeous masala cheese. Oh, the most tastiest cheese I've ever had. Which
Oh,
is
that
basically
sounds
got,
immense.
like Indian spices in it.
Oh, nice.
But I just bit down on a peppercorn. First one I've had, but the rest of it's just like nigella seeds and bits of garlic. And oh my God, I bought it at a Christmas market, and I'm going to have to look these people up and buy it in bulk or something, because my goodness, it's fantastic. Anyway,
the beer's
just
here.
down on popcorn. So Dan Curry was saying that when they were shooting on the day, the temperatures were going into 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and the Borg extras didn't only have all the Borg stuff on, but they had black long johns on underneath. So like, yeah, they were basically like dying in the heat. And then the interiors of the compound were like a 3-wall set, which was quite narrow, and then they multiplied it optically along with the extras, as we mentioned, them sort of multiplying them as well. So that it looked a lot more kind of cavernous than it was. It's quite clever.
Yeah, they use a long lens to make it look like the back wall is further away, and then they bunched all 11 into them behind each of them from 3 different angles. And as and then obviously they
You can
rotated.
look at a few of them, you think, oh look, they must be twins.
Yeah.
But they rotated who was in the front in all 3. You know, you were in the front in one shot, you were in the middle in another shot, and you were in the back in the third shot. So, yeah, they jumbled it up. It's fairly good. I mean, yeah, you probably
quite
could
good,
match
though.
if you chucked it up.
It's
Though.
done really
clever.
well.
Mr. Tobykins is in the house. Good evening,
Mr. Beard.
Mr. T in the house.
Mr. Beard's in the house. Yeah, so answers to the questions.
Yep,
We got
answers.
visor,
It was
some
B2,
things.
2 torpedoes, and it was Geordie's visor was what they took as well.
Yeah, it was B. That was a complete guess again, I have to say. I
Nice.
thought it was at a 2 or 3, but B was a complete and
Might be
utter
taking the
guess.
crown off Tavi this year. Or this season.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
I decided not to take notes. I wanted it to be a bit more fair.
I can luck into some answers, but I don't think I'm ever going to beat Tavikins. But yes, okay. So spinning the wheel. Then is everybody on it? Visor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, everybody's on the wheel. I'm spinning it. It's... Oh, what a way to start a season. It's me!
And you're ahead already.
What a start. What a start.
I
This
wasn't paying
Monty's
attention
on
there.
fire.
B was the correct answer.
Okay.
Was B the correct answer? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
B was the correct answer. It was 2. Yes. Act 2. Talking about 2s. Act 2. On the Enterprise, just quickly, very quickly, I know I want to move on, but someone said a minute ago that they thought that Beverly's captaining was very good in this episode. She is a very good captain, I thought, in this episode. She's quick, decisive, uses her crew properly. She does a really good job.
Wait. No. She doesn't use her crew properly, but continue.
But she does, in terms of Star Trek. Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
Okay, we can put that asterisk on there.
Yeah,
Because like I said in my rant, unless somebody else knows, the Enterprise has 26 transporter pads. There's 6 spots on each one of these transporters. How the hell did you not get all your people out in damn near one go?
Yeah.
Why did you send everybody else down?
Plus the
and not
shuttlecraft, plus the cargo bays.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, why would you send that amount of people down against the Borg? Just take the freaking shuttles. There's 2 people in the shuttle. If I'm gonna lose somebody, I'd rather lose 2 people than 4 to 5 man teams. What the frickety hell? And I'm definitely not sending Picard down. He already got smacked on the head for dealing with the Borg. Be like, nah, you stay on the ship.
I understand Picard's
Should've
attitude,
said
but at
anything.
the same time, the best success for the mission was him to stay in the captain's chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is it. He should have stayed in the captain's chair all along.
In fact, it's a breach of standing orders for him to go down to a hostile planet, so he just shouldn't have been doing it.
In fact, if there's hostilities going on down there, they're probably going to need medics and things, and the doctor should probably be down there to treat anybody, So yes.
Yeah. I'm like, can you imagine what Nechayev is going to be, how bad she's going to be cursing in her seat when she gets the report of this successful mission? She's going to be foaming at the mouth. And everyone's like, why is she such a bitch? Well.
And Riker then orders everybody to hide, apart from him and Worf, who are going after Picard and that by themselves, when they've got all this backup. Like, they've got 47 other people there who could quite easily storm the compound and probably take over the 11 Borg that are there. But no.
Do you think they're going to hide from the Borg? Really?
It's not like they've got like optical implant eyes or anything to make them see anything, but yeah.
They see the full spectrum.
So anyway,
Okay,
moving on. On the Enterprise, the crew arrive on the bridge, and Joe Brill, Lieutenant Barnaby, relieves Tate at tactical. Beverly reassigns her to the science station because she wants to keep her on the bridge. And instead of going through the conduits and back to Federation space, Beverly decides to send a boy back to inform the Federation of what's going on and go back and rescue the rest of her crew. They surmise that they'll need about 30 seconds when they arrive to beam everybody up. But Salazar, they will have 30 seconds, but Salazar in the transport room says he needs about a minute. Barnaby proposes, as you say. That's a kind of weird considering how many people they got up within about 60 seconds last time. But anyway, Barnaby proposes using the planet as cover and dropping out of warp at the last minute. Data is worried about hitting the planet, but Barnaby assures her his calculations will be correct. Meanwhile, on the planet, Worf...
not boy. I think Duplum is hinting.
Sorry, what? Buoy.
It's a buoy.
A buoy.
A buoy.
Yeah, a buoy, yeah. Meanwhile, on the planet, Worf and Riker are still searching, and Worf picks up a faint energy signature. Data hands Laura Geordie's visor and questions why he wanted it. So it wasn't Data thinking he might use it as a weapon, but Laura asked for it. Laura jokes that he thought it might look good on him. But Data doesn't get it because Laura's not giving him any of those happy emotions. Laura tells him that he's going to need to work on his humor. But he thinks he's got it because he wants to test it because he thinks Geordie's ocular implants will make him a good test subject. Data points out that all the Borg he's tested on so far have suffered from brain damage. He's like, you got a problem with that? No. Law points out that they're using these humans as subjects to prevent more Borg deaths. And Data's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So something's definitely misfiring in Data's brain box. That's Data's, oh, that makes sense face. Croesus then brings Croesus brings a Borg forward who has failed to connect with the others. The Borg explain that he is scared of having doubts. Laura convinces him that he needs to stay linked to the others to give him strength and help him through these times, and he agrees to reconnect. So in that scene we learn that despite them not being connected to the collective, they are all still connected to Croesus. Geordie tells the others that he thinks Laura had Data take his visor because he could see a carrier wave radiating from him. Ooh. He surmises that Laura is using the emotion chip to transfer negative emotions onto Data, though he must have disabled his ethical program first. To reactivate it, Geordie would need to generate a phased Kedion pulse at the right frequency. Then Data enters and takes Geordie away. Riker and Worf find some roaming Borg, some naturally roaming Borg in the wild, and they eventually come across the hall. But then they are surrounded by a Borg team, and they don't put up the tiniest bit of fight. They just are surrounded by 4 Borg, and they're like, well, we'll just follow you then. Then they're taken to an underground cave where they're introduced to Hugh, who is not pleased to see them at all. And that is the end of Act 2. Question time.
I'm off mute. I'm sorry. Multitasking here. Apologies. Okay, so which type of pulse Geordie's theorized might reset Data's ethics program? A. Graviton. B. Levetric. C. Photonic. Or D. Kedion. And bonus question. What is it that Barnaby plans to use to block the Borg sensors?
Anna, turn that light off.
I have no idea on the second one.
Yeah, I completely forgot that one.
So,
All right.
this is Act 2, right?
Yeah.
So when they're in the holding cell, Geordie mentions about seeing a carrier wave and hypothesizing that he was seeing emotions being transmitted to Laura. And then Troy says, I wonder why only negative emotions are being experienced by Data. What's the problem with that sentence? In the episode before, she said, there's no such thing as negative or positive emotions.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Now she realizes she was wrong.
he needs to be fired so hard. It's just-
And the other stuff that I've got is really just all relating to Hugh or Jonathan Delarco. So he was reprising his role.
Nothing. Carry on.
He's reprising his role as Hugh from iBorg. But he shares no screen time with Geordie, which is a bit of a shame because that's who he had the closest relationship with previously, and he does ask after him. He also said in an interview that it ended with a bit of a to be continued thing later in the season, and you'll find out what happens to this group of Borg that are left with on the planet. And there was and a reprisal of Hugh was not out of the question in Deep Space Nine. However, Hugh was not seen again on screen in either TNG or Deep Space Nine, with the reprisal being to some extent in Picard, and we know what happened there.
Boo.
Yeah, they did him dirty.
I think we might have mentioned this before, but I'd forgotten it that Jonathan Delarco auditioned for the part of Wesley Crusher at the beginning of TNG.
Yeah, I think
he
you
was
mentioned
too
that
old,
in iBorg. Yeah.
He was
so pissed off that he decided when he didn't get it that he didn't want to watch any of it.
he was 25 or 26. I mean, whereas Will Wheaton was 17 or 16. I think he might even been 15. So yeah, he was like a decade older. Yeah, too much.
Yeah, like we never have an older actor playing a younger role. Yeah, for sure.
Ed Spaliers, yeah, 32 playing a 20-year-old. Yeah, listen,
That one's
he's a good
insane.
actor, but he's not that good.
Because of
one's
the
insane.
headquarters in this one, all of Power Rangers in their 20s playing.
I don't care if he's the youngest looking 32-year-old in the whole world. Yeah, you don't look 20.
I will say, and I hope she don't mind me. She's actually not listening. I can tell because of chat that she's not listening right now. But Smiler Rainbow got me this wine this week, but she got it from Co-op because when she went into Tesco's to get me the wine along with some shopping, they refused to serve her because she didn't have any ID. I mean,
That's legit.
She has like a 17-year-old daughter.
she has a 17-year-old
And she's
daughter,
still getting
and I
carded.
won't say her age, but it's
Well,
it's
assuming
not
she was at
anywhere near-
least 12 when her daughter was born, she must be at least 29.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
I'm going to say, even if she was standing there with her child, people would probably go, yeah, that's not your kid. Nice try. Hope he doesn't get that.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, that was funny.
Well,
My
do
other
you
half
know-
does get carded from time to time. Also,
I never do. I
know
don't
what?
he's
why.
like a
The giant beard.
What do
might
I?
help.
No surprise with us. But we just happen to. Maybe we're just attracted to people who are like Peter Panish.
Yeah.
Well, I was getting served at 15 because I was 6'2" at 15, so when the barman has to
So
look
was
up at
I.
you,
You were
they're just
16?
like,
I mean, I wasn't
yeah,
16, but I
fine.
was getting served.
But but when you're tall, it helps. Even though I have a real baby face even now. But but then a weird thing came in. They started doing age cards, so I started getting asked when I was 22, 23, but I didn't get asked when I was 15. Strange.
Stupid was
Mazza
saying
just
it's
demands
revenge.
authority.
They
That's
should-
all.
Well, there was also a thing in Ireland.
Not
Now
that
we're going
age.
completely off topic. But when I was 16, it was
going
legal
off
to smoke
topic.
at 16.
Oh, no.
I'm going to stop on this and we move to the quick answers. When I was 16, I was allowed to smoke at 16. And then after 3 months after I turned 16, they changed it to 18. So I was allowed to smoke for 3 months and then not again for a year and a half legally.
Keep it down, please.
No, it never changed to 18.
Oh,
That's
in Ireland
crazy.
it did.
Stupan was saying, as revenge, you should take Anna, your daughter, and get her to buy some alcohol underage, and then go, oh, you served an underage person, but you wouldn't even serve a X amount middle-aged person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Funny.
Anyway, so okay, right. Answers then, Sean.
So it was B. Levetric, my lover, and it was Lieutenant Barnaby's plan was to use the planet to block the sensors.
Yes, the planet. So myself,
Levetric.
Tavykins,
Yeah.
and
Smile are not allowed to drink because you're underage, apparently.
So everybody got it wrong. It wasn't Acadian Pulse.
it was Katie and Pulse.
Oh, sorry. Yes, it was Cadian.
was.
I fell for my own red herring. Yeah, Cadian is correct.
Brilliant.
Levetic was the pulse they said in the first episode, and I got messed up. Cadian D, excuse me.
Cadian.
Sorry.
Cadian. Who?
Everybody but me.
Are you drinking beer now, Sean?
No, it's cider.
Everyone but
I'm putting that
Maz.
at the category.
It's that
we
magic
didn't have
see-through
that
cider. Hold on, I'll put my hand around it like that. Yeah. Bulmers from Clonmel.
Almost like beer.
I don't have a cider block, so you're getting Chief beer.
Oh, okay, that'll do.
Smiley says, even if you have my age, I would still be old enough.
Yeah, I'm the same. I was 38 there in October, so...
I forgot to add
I'm
more.
I'm 19
38?
twice.
You're 38?
Yes.
No, I have a baby face too.
Yeah, well, like I said, I look young for my age,
Well done,
but I'm still
Stefan.
getting served 23 years ago.
Big lummy wummies get in there.
Right. Act 3. So, Hugh blames them for what happened to him and the Borg. Riker concede that they did think it was a possibility. He goes on to explain what happened, and Laura promised that Laura, after they were in disarray, Laura promised clarity and purpose and leadership. He seemed like a savior, but then he started experimenting on them. Riker's like, well, I'm sorry you feel bad and all that, but we just came here to rescue our people, so we don't want to cause you any more trouble. Hugh wants to know about his friend Geordie, and Riker tells him that Laura has him. Hugh refuses to help, but will show him a way to the compound. These are examples of Laura's experiments. Horrifying. Geordie is strapped to a table when Data enters, pretending to be Picard, saying, "I'm going to get you out of there." Geordie is fooled until Data reveals himself and tells Geordie he is attempting to develop his sense of humour. Geordie is not impressed.
Well, I don't know if you've ever seen any videos of Brent at conventions, but he does an absolutely cracking Patrick Stewart impression.
He does, yeah.
Like, he just brings the house down with it every time.
Yeah.
So they didn't even need to dub it in. He could have just done
He
it.
could have done it. Data happily tells him that he is numbing his pain receptors and will then kill off his brain cells and replacing it with a neural net. So there's a 60% chance of failure. Geordie's not happy with them odds. Data's like, there's always Picard and Troy for me to test, so the odds are on his side. Picard plays dead, and Troy convinces a drone to enter. They incapacitate it, and Troy goes to secure the corridor, but it's too late. Data's already there with Geordie, and he threatens to break Geordie's neck. Data removes the drone and drops off Geordie. Picard manages to get an interlink receiver off of the knocked out Borg drone and starts to modify it to create the Kedian pulse. Back on the Enterprise, they head back to the planet on the far side to the Borg cube. They then emergency decelerate into orbit, and they start to transport up the rest of the crew. The Borg ship finds them pretty quickly though, so they have to raise shields, though not in time for the port nacelle to be hit. With the warp drive out, Beverly decides to head to the nearest star. That is the end of this act.
Another rant has been deposited in chat.
Wolf 359 was an inside job. So, that's a Lower Decks reference.
I know.
What is the percentage chance? Oh, great! You watched Lower Decks eventually. What is the percentage chance of failures of Geordie procedure? A 50, B 60, C 70, or D 80%? And the bonus question: what is the name of the Borg who helps Riker?
Okay. Anything for this act there, Mazza, Bob?
Is that a trick question?
No, I just thought it might catch people out who weren't paying attention.
It did.
Also, I was wearing a lower decks uniform earlier. Does that not count as a lower decks?
I've just been doing the colors, but I haven't been doing the reference
okay.
to the thing.
Okay.
You're on mute, Maz. You've gone on mute.
I have a hard time.
Ah. You didn't hear me complain about how I have no clue about the answers.
No.
So I've guessed.
You guess.
So Crusher's talking about metaphasic shielding. That's obviously what was the focus in Suspicions, which is obviously also the episode where James Saran played Joe Brill, and now he's Barnaby, which is why you keep calling him Joe Brill. And then
It's also a song by Stevie Wonder.
I'm saying this. Is this Act 3?
Okay. This
Yeah.
was Act 3.
Yeah,
yes.
I think you were given Act 4 trivia there.
Yes, sorry, that was Act 4. So when Geordie struck down to the table, I don't know if you noticed the movement of his hand. He's like struggling, and then his hand kind of slips out of the restraints super easy, and then he sort of shoves it back in again.
Oh, I did
I
not
mean,
notice
there's
that.
no way in which a person is restrained literally across his middle and across his arms. There's no way that if you were to put somebody's arms stuffed
Or
down
you
beside
just
their
breathe
body,
in with
that
your
they wouldn't be
stomach or
able to
something.
just pull
Yeah.
them out. You'd have to have it so tight that the person's lower half of their body circulation would be cut off in order to restrain their hands. And even
Well,
then it probably
if you had another one at the elbows to stop the elbows from moving, you possibly would work. But yeah, just cuff them and be done with it.
maybe, but yeah, you'd need a separate wrist restraint. You can't just have it over your waist and your hands. That's never going to work.
No.
So yeah, his hand kind of slips out and back in. And then also, did you notice the placement of the filaments
Oh, what, on his head?
when they?
And
Yeah,
they move as he raises his eyebrows. They raise up with his.
Well,
They're supposed to be
not
through
only
his
that,
skull.
but he puts it in here, like the thingy.
Oh, yeah.
Right on my thing, but it goes in here, over his eyebrow, and then when you see him retracting it, it's center and higher up over right in the middle. So it's just a bit of a continuity.
I
error
did
there.
think, because it's
So-
supposed to be going in his head and through his skull and into his brain, to numb his brain. But as he raises his eyebrows, they move and they wiggle about.
Yeah,
I just
so
think,
they clearly don't go
you're
anywhere.
you're just blending your brain as you're doing that. Stop it. I also
Rookie's saying I
noticed.
sound like an expert in this field. Yeah, I basically sound like a right old numpty who's saying the wrong things at the wrong time. But that's fine. It's because I've had a bottle and a half of wine. I'm allowed
Yes.
to make mistakes.
Indeed. Also,
And the final bit is that
from this angle, it
Go
looks
ahead,
like
sorry.
he's got a little tuft of hair under his bottom lip.
I think it's just a shadow. I don't.
I think it's just a shadow, but it does look like he's just got a little
soul patch.
It does remind me of Teal'c in the later seasons of SG1, where sometimes he has a little, chin vagina, little landing strip, and then he's got hair, then he's got
What
dreads,
is
then it's
soul
gone
patch?
again.
a soul patch.
Soul
Yeah,
patch,
it looks
that's
like
it.
he's got a soul patch, doesn't it?
But I was just going to say, do you see the little kind of blobby circular pattern on the screen behind them? You do see that in the kind of the first Contact and Voyager era Borg, so it looks like they take inspiration from that. So it's a nice bit of visual continuity. They went back to the old show to kind of find things to update, so that's pretty cool.
I've always wondered what the logo is in the hall as well. I know it's like the Borg logo. I mean, when you buy Borg figures from Playmates,
Yeah,
they
the
all
little-
come with that logo, the Borg logo.
Yeah,
but
the stand has
I don't know.
that,
I don't
yeah.
know what it is. It's like a claw or a hand or something. I don't know. It's like.
Looks like an
three-
eye, I think.
Is it an
And
eye?
you think it's weird.
I've
well,
never.
it
I've
To
always
me, it
wondered
looks
what
like
it
an
is.
eye.
All right,
For
we'll have a look at
people
it
who
now.
that have a collective mind, they're pretty artistic. They sit around on the side and go, "Hey, what is our brand? What's our logo? Guys? What does everybody
It's a
think?
red clawed hand.
It's a
It's
claw.
a red clawed hand. I thought it was a hand. Yeah, I thought it was a hand. It looked like a hand.
Cyber
couple of
hand.
According to the Trek BBS
Yeah.
website.
Well done.
Everyone else has a flag. We've
yeah.
assimilated everyone, and everyone had a flag.
Okay, Sean, what's the answers to the question?
I have one more. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
And also, Tate refers to the star of this solar system as the sun, which was another thing that we had in the episode with Joe Brill and stuff. Whereas the sun is obviously
Sol,
a name.
yeah.
It's like calling that planet the Earth.
It's the local star.
Mazza, just before I give the answers, you answered the second question and not the... Oh, you did answer the first one. Sorry, that's all right.
Just the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was B...
I answered them both.
Oh, you did. You just did it separately. I just missed it. Yeah, sorry, that's fine. So it's B 60%, and it is Hugh Borg.
Right, I think that's everyone then, isn't it? Because it's who am I missing? It's Maz, isn't it?
Bad times. So not only did I not get the 80 points, I now stand a chance to lose another 10 points. Yay!
Here we go. Let's spin the wheel. Who's it gonna be?
Come on.
It's Tommy. Well done, Tommy. Okay.
Send your notes, Sean.
Do you want to know who's winning so far?
Go on then. Who's winning?
Yeah.
Me?
Is it Tavi?
Is it me? Because whoever wins this episode is like the championship leader for the season.
It's the lead at the
this
moment.
This is quite possibly the only chance I have to be the championship leader this season. So I'm embracing it. I'm going for it, baby. I'm there. Okay. So Beverly tells Barnaby about metaphasic shielding that we saw a few episodes ago. Barnaby's like, yeah, I've heard of that. It interests me for some reason. He says it's in the computer banks, the program, but it's never been tested, except for we've seen it tested, but we'll ignore that. She orders him to bring the shielding online, which he does. Then here's some... There's some good shots of some L-cars. Look, you can see the yellow metaphasic shielding coming online on the L-cars. And there's...
Yeah.
The
I don't like the shape of the bubble. It's the wrong shape.
when the shielding comes online, you can see the radiation exposure and hull temperature decrease. I don't know how you're supposed to read the numbers on the bars here, because they really didn't think of in software where you have to think about everybody being able to see the accessibility standards. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. They really didn't think about accessibility standards on the Enterprise L cars there. There's no way anybody's going to read those numbers. So once the shielding's engaged, the whole temperature comes down and they maintain a course around the star. The Borg ship breaks off because it can't stand it. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen.
Get out of the warp core.
Get out of the warp core. So the Borg breaks off its pursuit and maintains a shadowing position at a safe distance. Here's some shots to show you. There's the Enterprise heading through the star's corona. Here's the Borg vessel breaking off. And yeah, so then we go to Picard has finished the pulse gadget thing that he's been working on, and he kind of tows it into the force field and hopes that triggers the pulse. Meanwhile, as Data is busy working on lobotomizing Geordi is reminiscing about a time they went sailing, and Data went swimming, but he sank to the bottom of the lake. He then had to walk a kilometre to the shore. Then Data corrects himself in a very data-y way by saying, well, 1 kilometre and 46 metres, but then goes straight back to, now I'm going to radiate the remaining brain cells. Geordi tells him that one day, when he's back to his normal self, he might not be able to forgive himself for what he's about to do. Data ponders this and then has a rethink and has Geordi taken back to his cell. Data then meets Laura outside and Laura asks Data how the tests are going, and Data replies that it's too early to tell. Laura reminds him that it's the humans' fault that they're going to die. They should not have come here in the first place. Data tells his brother that, well, they came looking for him, and if they die, it'll be his responsibility. Laura's like, what's wrong with you? Maybe I should cut back on your emotions. So he pulls out his hand and pushes a button in his finger. It's like, where else are you going to keep a button? But under your fingernail.
Why does he have to push a button at all? Can he not just think it?
Yeah. Anyway, there it is. It looks horrible.
Some sort of weird Rube Goldberg machine. He sends a message to one hand to press a button on his other hand to go back to his brain to do it.
Just the concept of pulling your fingernail back and push a button just cringes me. It cringes. Anyway, he pulls his motions back, and Data doesn't like that at all. So Lore gives him a little bit back and sends him on his way. Croesus then comes over to Lore and tells him that he doesn't, and Lore tells him he doesn't think that Data wants to be a part of their great future. And that is the end of Act 4. Question time.
Yeah. Just before we go, could you just go back a couple of shots to where Data or Lore in the same shot? Yeah, not over the shoulder.
Over the shoulder.
They both have, I think. Yeah. No. That one you were just on.
What, that one?
Yeah. Shouldn't they have shadows? Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I don't
Maybe.
know if they'd be
Nice shot.
actually getting the camera though.
Nice shot though, and they keep the right eye level and stuff, and they even make them distance to the camera to make it better. But yeah, they're standing in front of a green screen. You can tell because there's no shadows, I think. Anyway, otherwise than that, it's flawless. It's really good. Okay.
I don't think it was a green screen, you know.
You don't think so?
I think it's split screen, because when you see like the leaves
you can see
move,
the blur of the
you can
shadows
see there's
down
a
the
slight
center.
blur
Yes.
of the leaves shadows on the. There's
You
a
can see
slight
from the
blur.
board that the shadows
You're right,
actually
you're
quite
right.
cute.
Yeah, it's like right down by their feet, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, you're correct. You're correct. Yeah, it must just be the angle. Oh yeah, okay. All right, I accept that. Yeah, because even if they're taking 15 minutes apart, the sun still moves. So yeah, but I take your point. You're right. Anyway, questions. What type of shielding did the Enterprise use to survive the sun's radiation? A. Metaphasic. B. Ablative. C. Regenerative. Or D. Metatronic. And the bonus question is, which nacelle was hit which knocked out the warp? It's either port or starboard. It's one of those.
There we go. Anything from this one, Mazam Bob?
Only a little bit. Yeah, so I started saying this earlier and then realized I was on the wrong act. But there's a shot with the Enterprise and the Borg ship flying closely to the star's surface. And obviously the star is many, many orders of magnitude too small, because the curvature is visible, like the Enterprise is there, and it looks like it's basically like
it's like Dyson Sphere all over again.
So yeah, little tiny goofy goof. And then obviously I mentioned about the metaphasic shielding earlier. The only other thing is that I just find a bit odd, and this is more of a personal opinion than anything, but when Lore kind of dials back the emotions, I just find the reaction really odd. Like they're depicting it like it's some kind of drug and like he's in withdrawal, whereas a reduction of emotions would almost be like kind of, you know, people who are maybe bipolar and are put on drugs to sort of calm everything down and sort of bring everything down a level. And, you know, they describe everything as being a little bit muted and, you know, not caring as much about the little things and stuff. So for somebody to suddenly get really, you know, like angsty and wired about something, about their emotions being dialed down, it's like you've just dialed those emotions down and you've had a really, really super emotional reaction to it. That just seemed really counterintuitive to me.
Yeah, it would have made more sense if he was feeding them good emotions and then was taking those away. That would probably make more sense.
And that's to presume that he's actually emitting emotions and not something else to generate that. Because he says he has his father's program. Without the chip, he has to stimulate something else in Data, because there's no basis for Data to have emotions. He literally needs a hardware in order to have it. So whatever Lore is doing to him is
something. He's jimmied up himself.
I
And
think
I'm
he's
not-
projecting pain.
Yeah.
You know,
So I
It's
don't
like,
think
you don't
think
want
he's
emotions.
doing-
I'll take them away. But what he's actually doing is like going pain or something
Yeah.
like that. You know, here, have the emotion of withdrawal or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's doing something weird, isn't he?
Yeah, that would make more sense, than
Hmm.
just dialing back the emotions and Data craving more, because that just didn't really.
Wookiee's
It seemed odd.
like the sun is flat. You know it's projected on the firmament. Stop believing in this science rubbish. Go back past the ice barrier, Wookiee. Go on. Okay, so answers, Seamus.
Yeah, it was metaphasic, metaphasic, and it was the port nacelle.
Port. Okay, so that's that's Maz. She
Maz and
guessed-
Monty and Ruth.
She guessed right. It's Maz,
You know,
Monty,
you know
and
how you
Ruth.
know your port for your starboard?
Because
One
I
of them
drink
base-
port with my right hand. I don't know.
No, port is 4 letters and left is 4 letters.
Oh, yeah. I would. Oh, it's port starboard, is it?
Yeah.
I can
And,
never remember.
My father has a thing. Is like there's no red port left. Is the expression? So because the red lights are on the port side and the green lights
Oh,
are on the
MS.
starboard side.
Is that right? Monty, Ruth, Stu, and Maz? Oh, not Stu. No Stu.
Yeah, so there's only 3 of us. And
Monty,
Stu.
Ruth, and Maz. Right.
Oh, we're overdue a look.
We are overdue a Wookiee, so this might be the one. Whoa. Oh, it is going to be a Wookiee as well, isn't it?
Oh, it's gonna be close.
Oh, skin of your teeth.
Oh my god, I am on fire. This Monty's on fire.
Now, I've not run the numbers, but I think it'd be very hard for you to lose from here.
I don't know. If I can find a way, I'm sure I'll find it. Depends what your last question is like. Okay, Act 5. Yes, everyone, believe it. It might be just gone 10:30, but we're into the final act. So,
Stu,
We're
still
doing
with
well
us.
for
You
two
know we're
seconds.
testing you.
Stu Plum's
Stick with
hanging
us,
on in
buddy.
there. Yeah, he's hanging on. The Enterprise is still trapped in the star and is starting to lose its metaphasic shielding. Ensign Tate has an idea, though, of using a particle beam on the star's surface beneath the Borg ship to trigger a solar eruption, thus destroying it. Barnaby is super skeptical, but Tate's like, I did senior honors thesis in solar dynamics. I know what I'm doing. I will make sure my calculations are correct, Lieutenant. So they do that. And the Enterprise goes pew pew. The star goes explodey, and the Borg vessel goes kablooey. And Captain Beverly congratulates Tate, who's pretty pleased with herself. She is a legend.
I was
Back-
slightly annoyed with this scene because she
Why?
tries to
What?
she tries to stab back at the guy saying, "Oh, I'm gonna make sure my things are correct." But actually, in the first scene, she insulted him by questioning his calculations in front of
Yeah, it was a
Like-
callback, wasn't it? It was a callback because
him. But she was being rude to him, and it was like, and he snaps back at her. I'll just make sure my stuff is correct, because I'm like, dude, you just showed up on the bridge. Someone else puts their idea up, and you counter it on the bridge, and no one asked you. So I was like, why are you breaking down his stuff when it's just, oh, I just got to make my.
Does anybody recognise her, by the way? I keep forgetting to say this because I don't have it written in my notes anywhere.
I do, but I don't know where from.
Yeah, see, I was thinking, I recognise you. You must be in something else, Star Trek. But it's not
She
a Star
isn't.
Trek thing
She's
that
not in
I think
anything
I
Star Trek,
recognise
is
her
she?
from.
Not one of the
She
Cosby.
is. No, she is kind of like a main extra in a big film, Passenger 57 with Wesley Snipes. She's the
Yeah.
air hostess lady that helps him and like gets him
Marty.
sort of on lower decks and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
yeah. lower decks. But she gets him like down to cargo bay and stuff like that, and smothers him around the place and helps him out.
Right.
So that's where I think that's the most famous thing that I think she's
Well,
been in that I know her from.
She reminds me of that woman. I think the episode's called Suspicions. They go to that little station and the dog is an alien trying to eat everybody. That murder mystery one. I forget what it's called. But
Suspicions is the one just a few episodes ago with Joe.
Okay, that's not the one I'm thinking of. But there's an episode.
I know what you mean.
Where and
but I think it's like the Klingons.
But it's not the same actress at all. It's just another African American with a similar hairstyle.
I was wondering where Wookiee was going then.
I know.
So, back on the planet, Data arrives for Picard this time. He doesn't want Geordie.
I had the chat gone walk too far.
Yeah, you nearly made Sean spit his drink out. Data takes Picard to the hall, and Picard asks Data, what does his ethical program tell him about what he and Laura are doing to Geordie and the Borg? Data looks confused, as if he's just thought about this for the first time. My God. Laura enters and tells Picard he is going to help in an important ceremony. Meanwhile, in the tunnels below, they realize as soon as they stun one of the Laura's Borgs, they're all going to know they're there because they're all connected to Croesus. So Hugh wishes Riker and Worf luck in their mission to go rescue their crew. Good luck, guys. Wish you well. Back in the hall, Laura tells Data he must kill Picard as proof of his loyalty. But Data says, no, that would be wrong. So he is held by a bunch of Borg. Laura tells the Borg crowd that he is willing to make the greatest sacrifice of all, his own dear brother. But as he goes to pull the trigger, Hugh launches himself out of nowhere at Laura, and all hell breaks loose in the hall. Riker and Worf pop up from where they were hiding and start phasering Borg. I do think the phaser and the green phaser effects in this episode are particularly nice. I don't know if they got a different or Industrial Light and Magic or on it, but I guess actually it's all done by it's Blu-ray, isn't it? So it's all remastered. I don't know if it looks anything like what it originally looked like, but it all looks super nice.
But I really do like the set, and I like that kind of pattern because you see it on the outside of the building. So clearly they looked at the outside of the building and then they replicated it to make the set. Like they really, I guess it was just an end of year budget thing from the previous one, but
yeah,
it's really nice visual continuity.
There's Riker taking out a Borg that was going to grab Picard. Picard's like, at last, I'm free. So Borg go fighting Borg, and Laura makes a run for it, and Data gives chase. Data tracks him down, and Laura tries to convince him to come along with him, offering him the emotion chip, no less. But this is all just a ruse so he can press his little nail button thing and incapacitate Data with pain. But instead, Data shoots him first. Kapow, like that. And he deactivates Laura. Laura tells him he will never feel emotions again without him, but he tells his brother he loves him. I do feel that Laura telling Data he loves him at that last minute there is just to rub salt in the wound, you know, because I can feel love and you can't, type thing. It's not like a true expression of love.
Yeah, it seems.
I always figured that he meant it because he was insane.
Maybe. Yeah. I just thought he was just rubbing Data's inadequacies in, you know, like an open wound. Geordie and Troy get beamed straight to sickbay, and Data tells Picard Laura needs to be dismantled so he can no longer be a threat. What I quite liked here, like Data runs off after Laura, right? They all have a whole battle, and he you know, turns Laura off, and then comes walking back into the hall and tells Picard that everything's all right now, and Picard's like, "Oh, thank God for that." But not at any point does Picard go, "And which one are you exactly?" Like,
Yeah. They had enough time.
you've done this to us before. I'm not falling for it this time.
And in Data lore, obviously, lore had that kind of quirky twitch thing.
Not anymore, he doesn't.
You know, not anymore. No, it just dropped.
He doesn't.
Also, can we take a moment to appreciate how lanky them damn arms are? That looks like a sci-fi. Look at those things. They're down to his knees.
He's the
Like,
perfect android type. Look at those. Yeah, the arms. I love
Honest to God, like, he could have been a boxer. Look at those things.
He has reach. Yeah.
And he was a lefty. A double advantage. He would have absolutely minced people if he'd taken up boxing.
Yeah.
Have you mentioned Voyager already, Sean? I felt like you did, but
Did I?
I thought you'd called it on bingo, and I've marked it off
I
on my
did, but he
bingo.
said I
No,
did.
Tabby called it, but I'd actually referenced DS9. But I can reference.
We did.
Oh,
we did
with
talk
like,
about Voyager because we talked about the Newton being being
The apple
mentioned in Voyager.
Q
So we
falling
did
from
come
the
up,
tree.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's correct.
the
So it did come
cute
up, you're right.
And the apple in the tree.
Yeah. No, it's all good.
Yes. So yes, he recommends Lore be disassembled so that he can no longer be a threat. Picard asks Hugh what they're going to do now, but Hugh doesn't know, as they're now leaderless. But Picard doesn't think that is true, and he wishes them the best of luck. Back on the ship, in Data's
It
quarters.
just popped into my mind, but bad Borg, what's
What
he
you
gonna
gonna
do?
do?
What's
What
he
you
gonna
gonna
do? in the
That's
time?
right, you. What's you gonna do?
Look at Spot.
Nobody
It's
stopped that
Eyes are cute.
Cutie pie.
Reminds me of Lil Injun, our neighbour cat.
Back on the ship in Data's quarters, Geordie visits and lets him know he's okay. Data is relieved. He's holding the emotion chip, and he can't use it because it's damaged, but he's pleased that it is damaged because of what it led him to do. He doesn't want to risk anything happening to Geordie again, so he decides the only thing to do is to destroy it. But before he can, Geordie stops him, as maybe someday they can fix it when he is ready. And that is the end of your episode. We are done. It's the last question time.
Okay. So, in what future series do a bunch of Klingons use a solar fusion eruption to destroy a shipyard?
To destroy a shipyard?
A shipyard,
One
yeah.
I've not seen, probably.
Oh, you've definitely seen it.
Are you sure it's not the one with the two-parter with Worf you're talking about?
Yeah, Worf's in it, yeah. That narrows it down a hell of an awful lot because
Oh,
it's
it
only in
does,
one
yeah.
other series. And the bonus
Ah,
question.
that makes it obvious.
Well, no, it wasn't a
Oh,
shipyard.
I know
That's why.
now.
Yeah, it was a catch sell wife facility. Was that what it
Oh,
was?
it's definitely no now.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure it was a shipyard. Anyway,
It might have been.
In Picard season 3, how did Data defeat Lore once and for all? That's the bonus question.
They're in the same brain.
Anyway,
Uh,
so, and Trivs, maybe, and Goofs. There's actually really no Goofs, just Trivs. What do we got? So the terminal that Lore is working at just prior to deactivation is the
That's the
same
Romulan
prop
one,
that
yeah.
they used as the theta band wave emitter in Chain of Command Part 1. So, you know.
Yeah, you see it a
you
few
guys
times. Go on, sorry.
Yeah. You guys mentioned about when he said, "I love you, brother," and what that might mean. Now, I was just reading it as a very, well, I put clearly another manipulative little lie, a manipulative lie to try and save his skin. So, I think a lot of this episode is supposed to be about the idea of like a cult and somebody being charismatic and manipulative and controlling people. And I just think almost anything Laura said in this entire episode was about trying to control people. And I don't see why his last words would have been any different.
It is like a cult, isn't it? It's like a sort of like those cult leaders you see in the United States.
Yeah. And then apparently there were some sort of changes in the way that Laura was originally going to be killed. They were initially going to have it like as self-defense with this phaser, and then they wanted something a little less overt and a little more kind of meaningful, so they sort of changed it a bit. His final scene is also similar to the deactivation of HAL 9000 in 2001 Space Odyssey, in that, they sort of both pronounce their final words in a slow way, and the person deactivating them, they're trying to appeal to their compassion and things like that. So, some similarities there.
And what's Hal's last words? Does anybody know?
I don't know, something about Dave.
No, it is. Yeah, it is Dave. It is Dave, I think, isn't it?
Was it "You Are My Friend" or something?
I'm dead, Dave.
Daisy, Daisy. He sings Daisy, Daisy after asking Dave if he's going to dream. Will I dream? And then he sings Daisy, Daisy to himself as he's being turned off. Iconic.
I've said this before, but maybe a coincidence. But how, if you change those letters by one, it becomes IBM?
It's not. It was intentional. Hal is one step ahead of IBM because he's one letter ahead.
Nice.
Yeah.
What else? This is the final appearance of Laura. Continuity thing.
Yeah.
At the end of this season, it's implied that Data will eventually get the use of his motion chip. And then we see in All Good Things, he remarks that his housekeeper makes him laugh. The emotion chip is next seen in Generations, where it becomes fused to his neural net, forcing him to deal with it on a permanent basis, and eventually gains the ability to deactivate it and remove it completely in first contact. So,
I'll tell you, Geordie. Oh, sorry. Go on.
But the design of it obviously changes. So
that's what I was
the one we
say.
see in Generations and stuff, changes significantly.
I assume Geordie in fixing it, ended up making it a lot bigger, because he couldn't fit it all into that compact little circle C shape thing.
Even as a kid of 11, if I was even 11, wait, it would have come out in 94? Oh God, it was 9. I saw it on the big screen and went, that's not the emotion chip. I knew immediately it was different.
Well, Geordie fixed it, you see, so it had to be a lot bigger.
As a 9-year-old. Actually, no, Jesus, I was even 8. I think it came out in the summer. Even then I knew it was wrong. So, yeah.
I've said this before. I lent this top to the usher, letting people in to Generations when it was in the cinema.
Nice.
That's how old this TNG shirt is.
Impressive. No points
The
for
other
this.
observation I had, which was a personal observation, was that I don't know if the emotion chip is supposed to be working the way it is in lore, but it makes him a complete and total sociopath, which to me means that the emotion chip is probably defective. And, wouldn't it act in Data the same way? But like I say, Geordie does some stuff to fix it, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe they make it actually work properly, or maybe there's some fundamental programming law which, means that it doesn't work right with him, which I'm guessing is probably what is the case. But
the way I understood it was, Laura was designed to be emotional from the start, but he didn't have the emotional maturity as growing up as a human does and having 25 years to kind of hone those abilities. He just was born with full emotions, whereas Data, he learned to dream and he developed more. Like, he was deliberately stunted so he could develop slowly into becoming a fully formed adult. So Laura was given too much too soon, and that's kind of what messed him up. And people were fearful of him because he was too powerful. He was too much ability, and he had more ability than Data in some respects. But yeah, it was too much too soon.
The crazy thing is, though, in this one little scene here of Data sat at his desk, one moment he's telling Geordi he's happy to see that he is all right and he's not damaged in any way, and then he has to destroy it because he's worried that something like this will happen to Geordi again in future. So he's already displaying a whole range of emotions just in this one little scene without any emotion chip.
Yeah, well,
I know.
I mean, there is a certain amount of prioritizing that emotions. Yeah, you're getting into a whole philosophical argument here, but maybe higher level emotions. He has kind of base level emotions. He's he's sad to see people he knows dies, and he's happy to see success on a mission. But it's very it's low level. It's like. Yeah, again, it's probably like being doped up with a load of drugs to kind of mute your emotions, as you were putting earlier, Matt. So, he only has the most basic understanding of it.
But I think there's some of the most important emotions. So, I don't know. I just think, I've always felt, even with Generations, even though I thought it was funny, it is funny when he gets his emotions in Generations. But I always felt that just putting the chip in him was a bit of a cop-out. It was a bit like a cheat code. That I always wanted to see Data grow naturally on his own, and do it for himself.
He did grow all the way through. It just he took a huge leap forward in the films because they didn't have time for more emotional development. But over 200 episodes, it was fairly granular, but he was definitely from straight up autistic to not understanding basic metaphors in season 1 to being just subtly. He understood all the social cues. He just didn't participate in them by season 7. I think he grew.
To answer your question, Wookie, Mazma Bob does. She has a very specific.
Yeah, we can answer that afterwards.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that afterwards. Right. Let's get going. Answers to the questions, Sean.
Yeah. So it was Deep Space Nine. They destroy a shipyard by doing that to make sure Jadzia could go to the afterlife. And how did Data defeat Lore once and for all? Data gave Lore everything he was, gave him all his emotions and memories, and by doing so, Lore became Data because he was more Data than Lore, because that's the basic premise of it. But anything in that general area.
By loving him?
Fine.
We don't have much in that general area.
By embracing
Tabby
him?
said he gave memories, so that's the closest.
Sharing his memories.
That's fairly good, yeah.
We've got sharing his memories from Ruth. That's also right.
One says DS9 by embracing him. Yeah,
I said by loving him. Monteman said by embracing him.
That's the same sort of thing.
Yeah, they're all fine. It's fine. But he basically tricked him by giving him all
everybody
his memories.
but Stu Plum then. Sorry, Stu Plum.
Although he did say if he had a memory, he'd be good. Isn't that kind of like? Isn't he implying that sharing memories?
I think that was just meant that he doesn't.
Should we just put Stu Plum in anyway?
I'll ask you a bonus question for no points whatsoever. What event or action or social faux pas did Data make that made him decide to take up the emotion chip?
I know.
You can shout it out. It's not for points.
It's a question answer.
Oh yeah. He pushed Beverly off.
Oh, off the Enterprise ship. Yes.
It would add to the money.
But that was funny. That was perfect. He was good.
That was funny.
Why was
Data?
That
was not funny.
It was funny to everybody else, but not her.
Anyway,
and even as she's coming off, she takes Worf back into the water again. I love it.
My god!
Auntie, Jesus!
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what is going on this evening.
That's 3 for you this evening.
I have no idea. That's mental. That is mental. Sometimes I don't have anything.
1 for Tabby, 3 for you, and a forfeited 1 from Ruth because she had a 50-50 chance of losing 10 points.
Anyway, well there you go.
So
Cool,
start thinking about what you give this episode out of 10 and put it in chat. Bingo is now closed. Tavykins, if you want to... she's put it in chat already. So Mazma Bob, if you want to total that up.
Thanks, so.
You're right. I completely forgot during this whole thing to actually create a sheet.
That's 20, really? I didn't think I got any.
So that's not very good, is it?
Mile 15. And Stuplum 10. Okay, so I think we have some results. So everybody put your score 7 yet. Put your scores out of 10 in chat. Thank you very much. Wookie's got his score in. Many Monty Night. Is that good night?
Still,
Good
put your
night.
score in.
Nashram.
Put your score in, Stu.
Put your score in chat first before you go. Don't go before you score.
Don't leave.
Don't leave us.
Or do leave, but put your score in first.
Smiler, put your score in.
9, 8. Smiler doesn't really ever put score in, actually,
No.
but she should.
She should.
True.
She should score the
She
episode.
should. She absolutely should. Doesn't she have to go through watching the whole thing twice? She should score it.
No. She only has to watch it once, and in fact, she didn't even do that this time because she slept through the whole thing. I will say, she had a busy
I know
week.
you don't score usually, but you should. That's what we're saying. Is you should.
I do
You don't
score.
have
I do not score usually. Oh, you should though. You should
to. You don't
have your say.
to. Right.
Oh, I'm gonna sneeze.
Today.
Is there a week? Oh, yeah.
Don't sneeze, Mark. Don't sneeze. You don't want to blow the eardrums off of everybody at home. Nope.
Are you waiting on me for scores, by the way?
I am
Or are
waiting on you. Look,
practically doing
look.
your own spreadsheet?
I have a sheet. Look.
You're not sharing it on screen.
Oh, am I not? Oh,
No.
look. It's all ready. Oh, good.
Okay, then. Brilliant. Excellent. So, in first place is Monty Bam with 455 TNG review points.
Wow.
10 points for you. You got 5 points on the bingo as well, but you were already head and shoulders ahead by 30 points. Like normally it's a bit closer than that, to be fair.
This is going to put me in the lead in for the season. I think this is the first time I've been in the gold place.
Relish this
point.
moment.
I'm relishing it. This is not going to happen again after next week, or after next time. But yeah, I'm
And then
relishing
next in line is, of course, Tavi with 9 points.
Woohoo! I
With
stayed.
420 TNG review points. Next is Ruth with 410, so only 10 points behind, but 8 points on the scoreboard. And then next is myself with 7 points on the scoreboard and 320 points. Stuplum, 20 points behind me with 300 TNG review points, so 6 points on the scoreboard. And then next is Smiley Rainbow with 15 points on the bingo, so 5 points on the scoreboard. No bingo points for Good John this week, Mr. T. So he does not make his mark yet in this season, being the other person who we know was watching. And a few people I know, they watch in chat and they don't actually, say that they're watching. They say, "Oh, I stalk you. I watch, but I don't talk." But you could be part of the scoreboard.
You could.
So you really don't want to be, otherwise you're there.
Oh no, I put that in the wrong place.
Just
Peter
saying,
has not
just
gotten his
saying.
bingo cards yet.
Has he not?
He has not. How dare you,
Of course, because
Hubby.
he was in chat. He did come, didn't he? But he didn't score. That's because he didn't have his bingo cards. You need to nag him. He would have been on the
He
scoreboard.
could have been on the
otherwise.
scoreboard, couldn't he?
Shame.
But,
Opportunity missed.
opportunity missed.
So there we go. And we have an average audience score. If Smiley Rainbow's not going to put something in. She says she will score when she watches it and then give it to Monty going forward. The current score for audience is 7.666, so 8.
Right, so our scores. What are we giving this episode out of 10? From 0 to 10, what do you give Descent Part 2? Have you got it? Have you got your scores ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm between.
I
I'm
saw
between
Maz's
two,
face,
but
and
I'm
I
just
thought,
gonna go
I know
with it.
my sister, and she was in a quandary. I could tell. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fa-doing. Hey, 8,
I was
8,
between an 8 and a 7.
A Data and a Lore, and you gave it a 6.
It brought it up from a 5.
My God, I am so shocked.
Usually with a data episode, I almost feel like I need to apply a tabby tax for my score.
I know, yeah.
But yeah, it's been clear this time I don't need to do that.
I've been shocked twice in a row, I have to say. Yeah.
The episode was a hot mess. I enjoyed
You've just been
it.
so
Too
excited
much
about this
going
double
on.
part for so long.
I have. I
thought
just
you were
wanted
gonna
to
be
say it more. I just wanted to see the positronic booty. And I loved it. I did love it. But I'm also outraged at how
Some of
sloppy
the
the
story
episodes
problems.
were. Yeah, it was too much. It was too, because me, I was just going, what? And then at the end, I'm like, don't just say goodbye to Hugh, Picard. This is first contact. Make a connection with the freaking Borg. One that you could actually talk to, because when you go back, and I guarantee you, Nechayev will be breathing fire. The next question is going to be, so, where are these good
What's
Borg
the next step?
So you say, okay, so you could have gotten diplomatic relationships said, okay, so you just said, good luck, bye.
Imagine the sharing of intelligence.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on. It's not like that came back to bite him in the ass 30 years later. It's fine.
Like this and like
It's not like he almost destroyed the entire Earth, the Federation, all life in the Alpha Quadrant. Just came right down to the wire. It's okay.
and then in the last one, his offspring also problems. I'm like, it's hereditary. it's just really no, like this entire episode, and I felt like they put way too many plots in it. They got the Hugh plot line, you got the Crusher one, and then you got the Data one. And and I was upset with the Data and Lore story because there was so much more there that required more acting and more visual representation.
Yeah, a three-parter or just cutting a few bits out, or like Hugh just being in there for 2 lines and they're bringing him back. Everything about it is too much, yeah. So they either needed to cut it back or they needed to expand it into a 3-parter, but they just didn't.
Yeah.
I think they should have expanded it into a 3-parter. I think that's what
they
they would have done if it was
money,
Deep Space
'cause
Nine.
They already had the sets, so...
I also think Tavi's been jaded or a little bit spoilt by the fact that she's just recently watched Deep Space Nine and the depth of the episodes and characterizations in Deep Space Nine. Once you watch Deep Space Nine recently and then you come back to TNG with their little 2-parters like this, it seems
a little less
unsatisfactory. To say
No,
least.
I've
Even
always
like-
felt this way. I've always felt this way, even before Deep Space Nine. And I have something controversial. I think Deep Space Nine is the best written one, but I enjoyed the Enterprise the most.
I can respect that. But yeah, you watched Duet from the very first season of Deep Space Nine, episode 10 or 12, and it's just it's as good as anything anywhere in any show.
Yeah, the
As
best
a
writing.
standalone 1-act play, it's just perfect, and it doesn't get any better.
So, I am eternally disappointed with the arcs that they have with the Sung family because it's like Troy, and I'm like, guys, why did you waste this?
Well, the 3-parter
like,
they did in Enterprise was fantastic. The Augment arc, it's great.
It was all right. It was good. it was good that they put that in there just so they could keep us sewn line, and it was fun.
And then he
But,
learned his lesson
Yeah.
for about 20 minutes until he had a kid.
And then, yeah, it was just, I don't know. For me, the way lore was written fit so many archetypes, and I think they did it by accident. I think they were trying to create the evil twin, and then they accidentally met all the markers for the storyline of an actual sociopathic megalomaniac, and then they just didn't realize it. And I'm like, what are you doing? You could have actually written a better episode. Even if you didn't want lore to have a redemption story, they just flubbed it up with a stupid android. He's stupid. So I was like, what did you do, lore? What exactly did you do?
Well,
How far
B4 was
did you
there
go?
because they weren't sure if they were making another film, and Brent didn't know if he wanted to be in another film, and they just had B4 as kind of a backdoor to bring him back in again if he wanted.
He felt he was getting too old, didn't he? And he didn't want to betray an old.
So it was just kind of left the door open.
Bloody what's his face, Wolverine. You know, and they found a way around explaining his aging, even though he's supposed to be like invincible-ish. And he keeps saying he's not going to do any more, and keeps doing it, same as
Deadpool 3, baby, Deadpool 3.
Well,
it's going back
the funny thing
again.
about Hugh Jackman was the first X-Man he was in, he was replacing someone. They gave him 3 weeks' notice to be in the film. Like, he's not Hugh Jackman. He's, you know, he's in shape, but he's not like, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger in shape, because they gave him 3 weeks' notice, and he. But yeah, that was, God, it's nearly 20 years ago now.
Yeah.
And they just, but he had a whole
I'm
career.
the
out of that
last
over.
of my second bottle now, so
Nice.
I'm only 2 bottles in. Gosh.
Yeah.
Can I just go
have my
back to
bottle of wine,
something?
my
I need to pivot.
Pivot.
Sorry, pivot.
Pivot?
There's our
Pivot!
friends
Pivot!
reference on the bingo.
Lovely,
Pivot!
lovely friends reference.
Did Tavi say that her favourite was Enterprise?
I said I enjoyed Enterprise the most. I think DS9 is the best.
writing was best in DS9.
DS9.
You
but she
enjoyed.
enjoyed Enterprise more.
Mostly, I think it was because the entire idea of humans closer to us going out there for the first time
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
really exciting.
I think it's got a goosebumpy feel about it when you watch it, you know. It's like taking
Yeah.
those first tentative steps, and you know, the time when I watched it, I definitely wasn't ready for it to receive that, and I didn't really like it. But when I've watched it more recently, which I never watched it fully, I don't think the first time, but when I've watched it recently, I really, really enjoyed it much more. So I can see why you would really like it. I mean, I definitely don't like it more than Deep Space Nine, but you know, everybody's obviously entitled to their own likes, and I can see why it would be
Better than
very
Voyager?
appealing to people for sure.
Yeah. Yes.
What,
TNG
actually,
has my heart.
Better than Voyager?
Voyager
No,
is
she
like
doesn't like
McDonald's.
Voyager.
It's fine. You
No,
know what
I
you're
mean,
going to
Mouse.
get.
Do you think it's better than Voyager?
Voyager isn't good and it's not bad. It's just fine.
Yeah. Far
I said it's like
I've been
McDonald's.
watching it. Yeah.
It's not the best food you've ever had, but you know it's going to be okay.
You haven't seen all of Voyager yet, have you? So
I'm
you
trying
know,
to watch
there
it
are
now.
some really good episodes, I've got to say. I was just thinking earlier about that episode where Harry Kim wakes up in like San Francisco. You know,
Oh,
there's
that's
just some
good.
really great episodes.
Yeah, that's good.
You know, so it's we're really worth sticking with things like
just watched
Scorpion,
that.
Year of Hell, and some really, really great episodes. There's some naff episodes in between.
Well, originally
But,
Year of
you
Hell
know,
was
it's worth
was-
watching it for the great episodes.
I just want Year of Hell to be a season. That's my problem with it.
But that was the plan.
just such
Year
a
of Hell was
great
supposed to be
double
a
bar.
season. It was going to be a whole Battlestar Galactica thing, and then they just
Wimped
cancelled
out.
it down to a
They
two-parter.
wimped down.
I'm
I have
having
to
a hard
say,
time
like,
going
this is
through Voyager right now because the episodes do feel really meh.
meh.
And-
yeah.
But just
As I said, it's
trust us.
McDonald's.
Trust us. There are some great episodes. So
has
just
to
keep
be
with
that
it,
script
and you'll
everything.
find them.
It's in
You
there
will find
somewhere.
them.
Whereabouts are
I
you in
still
Voyager?
keep getting pissed off because I'm like, Janeway, stop freaking exploring. Fill your gas tank. Get the fuck home. It's like,
There
stop.
is that. She does
Like,
make
no,
some,
we're
you know,
home.
she feels guilty about it, but yeah.
I'm like, it's gonna take us 70 years to get back. No, it's gonna
She
take us
does-
freaking 75.
Oh no,
She
70
does
years
start
at
making
maximum
some more
warp in a straight
cutthroat
line.
decisions later, I think. You know, to try and get home.
Oh
quicker.
yeah, when they get to season
No,
4 or
Mazram's too
5,
plumb.
Thanks, Super.
yeah, it gets serious.
Majram.
Yeah, I mean,
Have you hit Tuvix yet, Tavi?
You were saying you keep playing with your beard.
Not
I
yet.
don't know.
you know,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You'll get there.
I just finished the episode where Harry Kim wakes up in San
I just
Francisco.
noticed it had some
and he
pointy
has
out bits. I was trying to.
Yeah,
He has to
I'm
go
good.
back to a time. He has to go back to a time slip to get back to his time.
Yeah, that's like the
Yeah,
end of
that's a pretty
season
good
2 or
episode.
the start of season 3. That's early enough. Well, wait till you get to an episode called Tuvix, and I'll tell you no more than that.
I know about the episode. I just haven't seen it.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, is it Monty?
Wookie had a question back along, and we said we'd leave it to the end because we were in a rush. Can anybody remember what that question was?
Yes, it was whether people have any sort of Christmas traditions around.
Oh yes,
What they
and
watch
Maz does
at
have
Christmas.
one.
Die Hard.
No,
Do you though, Chief Sean?
he said he watches
Your
Doctor Who.
traditions, you watch Die Hard like so many people
No,
do?
I do actually watch Die Hard most
You
years.
do? Ah,
No, not particularly. No, it's
like some people. I know some people watch Home Alone at Christmas time.
I mean, I like yeah, actually, do you know, I'm getting back into Doctor Who thing after it being crap for like 8 years. But, you know, we actually have a Doctor Who Christmas special this year, so I'll try and find a quiet room to watch that away from the rest of the family.
I think
For me and my
mine
other
is more
half, we-
associated with music. Sorry, go ahead, Nessa.
No, music. What kind of music?
I have to hear "Walking in the Air" by that Scottish kid that
Oh.
sung a long time ago. Because when I was younger,
He's
he
Welsh,
loved.
but anyway, go on.
Alex Jones.
I'm walking
the most-
through the air,
No, it was like
walking through
Audi something.
the sky.
Yeah,
Alec Jones,
Alec
yeah.
Jones.
Yeah, it's from
Okay.
Wales.
Alec Jones, yeah.
And I have to see some version of a Grinch movie. My favorite one is the one with Benedict Cumberbatch, but the song from the original one from when I grew up, you know, You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, is, you know, my childhood. And yeah, we keep the Christmas tree has to stay up and lit until the 6th of January, which
Yeah,
is my
little Christmas.
birthday.
Well, there's a thing in Ireland we have called Nullag Naman, which is women's Christmas. But what happens is basically the 6th is, as I said, the day that the decorations come down. But what now this is only in certain parts of Ireland, that's not everywhere. But what happens is the women go out because they say to the men, okay, well, we've done all the Christmas, so you can take the decorations down, you can mind the kids. We're going to a restaurant, we're putting our heels on, we're putting our dresses on, we're going out. So they have their big, you know, they have a whole thing. All the women go out like it's a hen party, and all the men stay home with the kids and take the decorations down.
Oh, I'm gonna have to show this clip. We're still live, right? I'm gonna show this clip to the beard and just have it put on. Did you watch the episode? Yeah. New traditions. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, well, it's not even everywhere in Ireland. It's only like small pockets of it, like Cork and Kerry. But yeah, Little Christmas or Women's Christmas is it's called.
So for us in our household, we have a forced upon me tradition.
You do.
That I quite like, though, really. But my other half, he's absolutely obsessed with the Harry Potter movies, and he used to watch them kind of on rotation constantly. And then I got to a point where I said, enough is enough. We need to watch them only once a year. So we decided to watch them once a year in the run up to Christmas. So now, like every year, we're kind of going through November, and he's like, "Can we start yet? Can we start yet?" And I'm like, "No, not yet." And then we get to sort of December, and then I say, "Right, we can watch one of them now." And then we'll sometimes do it of evenings, or we'll sometimes do it of weekends. He has random shifts anyway, and in the past he's sometimes worked care work on weekends, so we've done it in the evenings. But now he works as a firefighter, so we do it on days that he's not on shift. But anyway, during December, we make our way through the 8 Harry Potter films. And this year, we've been making it particularly festive, especially when he's not on call. But even sometimes when he is on call, in that Stu Plum has made us just the most amazing peach and mango cider, and we've been heating it up and making it like a mulled cider with mango rum, and sitting there watching Harry Potter with hot cider. It's just so yummy and nice, cuddled up under a blanket. It's just so nice. It's very Christmassy. I hear the bum ba da bum 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 bum.
And then it makes you feel Christmassy.
Instantly Christmassy now, because it's like our Christmas tradition. Harry Potter beer. Yeah, it's kind of like Harry Potter beer, although there is a Harry Potter beer called butter beer. And I have just this year come up with an idea of how to make butter beer using avocado and toffee vodka and cream soda with squirty cream and toffee sauce on top. So I'm bringing that to the McCoy household this Christmas. I'll be making butter beers for anyone.
Exciting.
I
To bring
suggest
Harry
you
Potter.
maybe get
Yes, we are.
Get
Chris
G-Star
has
to
just
make
got
some
home.
mead.
Do you want to come on show?
It's the last one of the year.
Hook your head in.
Hello.
He's up for Jaja Beans.
Get off the screen.
I was just telling them about Harry Potter and our Christmas traditions and how I'm going to make everybody butter beers.
This is not only the last TNG review show of the year, possibly, or it's actually the last Christmas TNG review show ever, because we won't last until next Christmas.
That's true.
So this is it. There's no TNG Christmas TNG review show after this. This is it. So there you go.
I was just going to say, Mazza, in terms of the butter beer, you could ask your good buddy G-Star to make you some mead.
Why would G-Star make mead? He doesn't homebrew. My dad homebrews.
Yeah, Stu Plum is the homebrew fanatic.
It's just honey, water, and yeast, basically.
We don't have any film traditions.
Wookie says, I thought that was Harry Potter. I think he was referring to Chris, because he is looks like a child, right?
Yeah.
No wonder he gets carded.
We don't have any. We don't watch any films traditionally for Christmas in our house, but some traditions we do have, which we won't be doing this year actually, because it's down the holiday home and we're not getting down there. But we do always play the Wii. So Wii Resort at Christmas is generally a tradition that we play Wii Resort.
Stick fighting game.
Yeah, and before on Christmas Eve, I do sit everybody down and I read "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," the poem to everyone. So we all nestle down and the kids get into bed, and I read "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," and I will probably still do that this year, even though my daughter's now nearly 17. I'm like, no, you sit there. You listen.
We're doing this.
We're doing this because we do every year. So, yeah.
Oh, it's nice.
So, yes, we answered your question, Wookie. We got there eventually.
I'm just asking Wookie what traditions he has.
Ah, yes.
I don't know if he's willing to share or not, or whether he has any or not.
Stu Plum.
But obviously, we branched into not just things that we watch, but things that we do. We have other things we do on Christmas morning when we wake up. What do we expect, Monty Band?
Bucks Fizz for a start.
Bucks Fizz!
Champagne.
Oh, you
and
remember
orange.
that one year where Mum decided, we don't need to do that anymore, right? And we were like,
What?
no,
no champagne and orange. No Bucks Fizz in the morning. What? What are you talking about?
never
Craziness.
gone back on that since. She's like, okay, I'll do that every year.
And Christmas Eve, Stu Plum and myself, we make curry and chili puff pastries. So we get puff pastries, and we mix up like
Every year.
mince and curry and chili, and we make our own curry and chili puffs that become a part of the Christmas Eve buffet. So we have a big So that's a tradition. We always make the curry and chili puffs.
It's a thing we do every year.
And they are so good that we have family that come all over just to come to ours for Christmas Eve.
They
Because
come
like the
for
curry puffs.
the curry
and
puffs.
The chili puffs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Food.
That's
Yes,
the way.
Steve, I'm saying Christmas Eve chili puffs, curry puffs.
Yeah.
Very yummy,
It's a
yummy.
McCoy thing.
It
So
is.
that's what we're going with.
Nice.
And what do we have for starters on our Christmas meal, Maz?
Well, for you and me, it's always pate on toast.
So everybody has.
Do you know, Mum said to me, "Oh, I was wondering whether to do soup or pate," and I'm like, "Why are you asking me this question?
Why are you
That's
asking
such a
these
silly
crazy
question."
questions? So
Just
everybody
soup,
else,
pate.
everybody
Of course I want
else
the
generally has prawn
like
cocktails.
prawn cocktail.
Everyone has
We
prawn
don't really like
cocktail, apart
seafood.
from Maz and myself, who have pate on toast every year.
Let me. Oh, she's got some good pate. This
I've seen
year.
it. Yeah, we've got like pigs in blanket pate,
So nice.
chicken and bacon pate. I'm
Yummy,
excited about
yummy.
that. I'm excited about that. Yeah. Interesting.
And I'm
ones.
staying in a caravan.
Yes, you're
because,
staying in a
you know,
caravan because
the
the
whole
car
incident
parked itself in the
The room
bedrooms.
thing and the car in the house. So
Oh.
they, oh bless them, they decorated the scaffolding. They sent us a picture and they decorated all the scaffolding with all these beautiful Christmas lights. And then
Aw.
the contractors came round today and were like, "You've got to take all that down." So they took it all down. And they put this like more tarpaulin up to seal it. And then my mum was like, "Oh, tomorrow we'll put it all back up again." So they put all the lights back up again tomorrow. I'm like, "Don't bother, they might come around again." But they're just trying to make it look pretty.
Yeah. Mickey
sweet.
said watching Die Hard for Christmas is his thing.
The best Christmas movie. Rushing about like
He
headless
makes
chicken
his dogs
a day or two
Christmas
before to
fry
buy
up.
presents.
The full works.
I'm making the dogs a Christmas fry up. The full works.
That's just mental.
Wow. Sounds like doggy diarrhea waiting to happen, right?
Yeah. So, well, yeah, rather you than me cleaning that up. Yeah.
I am so organised this Christmas. All of my presents have done and wrapped, and it's like a whole 5 days to go, which is unusual
Hey,
for me.
we only have like one left. Which for us is like, it is a Christmas
one
miracle.
present.
One present.
Ah,
For us, it's
that's
like a
good for
Christmas
you, right?
miracle.
Yeah, I mean, same here. Usually I have at least a couple that I'm doing really last minute.
Yeah.
Are you
But
still
no, I'm all done.
Hmm.
I'm all done.
Are you still alive?
Very exciting.
Uh,
Yeah, we're still live, Smiler. Join us.
Do you want to join
Oh.
us?
are you live?
Come on, Smiler.
No,
Come on,
no. She's like, no. She does
My
not.
hair's all like.
She says she'd join us once we're off live.
Oh.
Not while we're live. No.
Mickey's saying the dogs love it. They love
Yeah, I
the
bet
fun.
they do. Chewy would like, yeah. Crikey.
And Mr. P
That's
says
the Hogfather.
Hogfather is my Christmas movie. Isn't that Terry Pratchett?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Discworld.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Love
Actually,
it. Love
that's
it.
one
Love
thing
it.
I'm going to do next year is I think I'm going to read the Discworld novels again. From
Oh,
start to
again. I
finish.
was going to say,
Again.
have you not? You have.
No,
but
I've
you're
done
very
it
good
before.
reading again.
I think I've done it like, well, no, I've only gone through the whole thing once, except for the last book. I got 3/4 of the way through and refused to finish it because
Because then it's
I
never
couldn't.
going to end.
yeah, and then
Leon's the same. I'm the same. I've got the last book. I haven't read it.
every time I started reading it, I started tearing up at the thought that I'm reading it for the last time, and I just can't do it. So I just gave up. I just thought I'm never going to finish that book. It's not possible. But I think I might start.
cool.
I might do it this year. Go back, read them all again. I'm at that age now where I'm starting to forget things because I'm heading towards 50. Half of the books will probably be like I'm reading them for the first time again, which will be great because I forgot it all.
Yeah, that's why I've spent the last year rewatching Stargate, Star Trek, everything start to finish. I just need to go through it all again, refresh myself.
Yeah, you got to keep
Although,
going
to
through
be
these
fair-
things, else you lose it, don't you?
To be fair, I never watched Stargate Atlantis through end to end. I only saw the odd episodes, so I'm doing that for the first time.
Oh,
But
really?
as soon as I finish that, it's on to Doctor Who and Torchwood again. I'm going to go through those again.
It's like you were saying though about Enterprise. I scoffed actually, in my normal way when you mentioned Enterprise earlier on because I didn't like it when it came out. But I have to admit,
I really enjoy it now.
I've only ever watched it once when it came out. I've never gone back and rewatched it.
Oh God, you need to
Not at all.
rewatch it.
Season 3 is
Oh,
awful. But
Monty,
season
bad.
1, 2, and 4
I've
are
never seen it
fantastic.
twice. No, I watched it when it
I
came
mean,
out.
I rewatched it a few years ago, and I really enjoyed it so much more the second time around.
Yeah, there's
You
the whole
will get
third
this-
season thing.
You'll love it. You will love it.
After
so much.
Discovery, I'm going to go watch Enterprise
Hopefully
now
not
and think it's a
more than
friggin'
Deep Space
masterpiece.
Nine, but you'll love it.
No, the third season is awful, but the other 3 seasons are fine. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Steve
going to love it.
does mention that last weekend it was Lindy Pop's 75th birthday party.
It
So,
was.
yeah, this isn't really related to Christmas, but we did have a surprise birthday party for our mummies on Saturday. We had a nice little time, and she was very surprised.
There
And,
a lot of her family
yeah,
there. She
we
didn't
had-
know would be there from
we
around
had
the
like
country.
45, 50
and,
people there.
she
She thought
loved
it was
it.
going to be like a meal for like maybe 10 or 12 of us. There were like 50 people there. She was like, ah. She just, was in utter shock. It was great.
I love that. Love to hear it.
It was a really good
That's a
evening.
good one.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Wookie says, I love it. Didn't like Enterprise the first time around like you, but loves it now. So yeah, you definitely need to rewatch.
I'm going to
I
have to
mean,
rewatch.
whether you want to save the rewatch for like 5 years' time when we get around to it.
No,
on the
I'm going to
reviews.
rewatch it next year at some point. I need to find things to watch. So, yeah, Enterprise is on
Brilliant.
my now list to go back and rewatch it. I rewatched Voyager when the kids were young, as sort of mundane Star Trek for them to watch, so that wasn't too boring. And they really enjoyed it when they were younger, watching Voyager. So I quite enjoyed watching that with them. It was part of their
the beauty of
childhood.
working from home is 35 hours a week. I'm getting a good 20, 25 hours of
At the
rewatching
moment-
whatever it is I need to rewatch.
For that, at the moment, I'm addicted to a YouTube channel called Escape to Rural France, which is about this guy who just bought like a derelict chateau. It's basically walls of a chateau in the middle of this forest, and single-handedly he's doing it up and filming it and editing it on a daily vlog on YouTube. And I just
wish I
have
had the
that.
patience for that.
I just
The
have
house I'm
that
buying
running
doesn't
all
have
day.
heating in it.
No, it's amazing what he's doing. But yeah, I'll watch that. Hiya, Mickey. Sorry, I didn't know if I
Literally, the
said
house I'm
hello to you.
buying, all it has is an open fireplace. It has no central heating. And it was last decorated at least 35 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was built in 1937. So
Happy winter
I wish I had the
solstice.
patience to film the transformation, but I don't.
It's not yet, is it? Is it 2 days' time? Is it? No, it's Duplum again.
No, it's not till Friday.
Yeah.
Or, no, sorry, it's not till Saturday. Excuse me.
Yeah, a couple of days, few
Well,
days' time.
Friday, Saturday. Yeah, Friday.
Before we go, when are we going to be next on then? When's next TNG review show?
Wednesday of the new year, right?
Wednesday of the new
Yeah,
year?
the 3rd.
The 3rd. Right,
The 3rd?
lovely.
That works for me. That's my first day back at work, I think.
Okay.
I
yep, so
assume
2
you're
weeks'
not having a
time.
Monty Zone on the 29th, or are you?
No. No, we did our December
Keeping
one early.
December Monty Zone.
We're going to do 2 in January, though. We're planning on doing 2 in January.
Ooh, 2 in January.
So, yes, the next TNG review show will be on the 3rd, Wednesday the 3rd. The next TNG review show, though, will be a year in review. So, we'll be off the back of the new year. We'll not be covering any particular episodes. So, don't go watching an episode for the next TNG review show. We are just looking back at season 6 and giving our thoughts, looking at the whole season in general, and thinking about how we thought it went. What was our favourite episodes? Do we think we scored any of them too high or too low? Now looking back at it, how does it score next to all the other seasons, and all those sort of things. Year in review. First time we've tried that, but now we're nearing the end of TNG. Why not do it now? Let's change the format now. We're near the end.
Yeah, start as
Why
you
not?
mean to go on, as they say.
Yeah, indeed.
What
But,
do you mean to end? What?
yeah, start as you mean to end. I don't know. Anyway. Well, thank you, Mazam Bob, Telekins Turner, and Chief Sean. Thank you to everyone in live chat from Wookiee and yes, from Wookiee to Ruth to Mickey.
Yeah,
Thank
Tabby
you.
doesn't even know what she's doing.
Thank
but
you
she's,
for popping along.
She's vibing.
You will one day. You will one day.
One day we'll actually convince her and she'll do it and surprise us.
It's not convincing. It's how to get access to this crazy weird.
Smiler
British
Rainbow. Thank you to I think did I say Sean? Yeah, no. Yeah, well, thank you to anybody that joined us in live chat. We'll see you in 2024.
Seeing everybody.
Yeah. Cheers, everyone.
Exciting! Merry Christmas.
Merry
Happy New Year.
Christmas. Ho, 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 ho.